Hey, it's Nicole.
This is Tiffany.
I'm Carol.
This is Saya. This is what keeps us together.
Basically the group chat in your head.
Living rent free.
Hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So July is, I don't know if every month is an awareness month, but apparently it is.
Uh-huh.
So this month
Several
is
different ones.
National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So I thought we should do a song that puts you in a good mood, like your feel good song. Like, what's your go-to song?
Oh.
I can go first if everyone's not ready. Okay. So my first one is Donna Summer's Last Dance.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
It's also my favorite karaoke song. And my other one.
Wait, sing it.
You guys know it all. All of you guys know the song.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, we were all in different parts of the song.
We were.
It's okay. It's all right.
Because I was already at
Next time we should count down on which part of the song we are going to go in. Yeah. That's my jam. My other one is, well, I'll hold it just in case it's someone else's.
Go ahead. Oh, that's fair.
I'd be happening.
Go
ahead.
I can go. So I would say my most recent feel good song has to be Bruno. Is it Bruno Mars or is it?
Oh.
It's Gucci Mane and Bruno Mars and Kodak Black, which I know is problematic, but I'm sorry. It's a good song.
I like everybody else.
Wake Up in the Sky.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, how's it go? Oh, yeah, that is a good one.
Man, I tell you.
I was going to help, but I know what note we were on. Sorry.
We're all
You're just guessing, you know? You just gotta go for it, Carol.
But that joint,
That is a good one.
that's just, it's.
Wow, I'm surprised yours wasn't like,
Ratchet.
yeah.
I mean,
Ratchet.
I mean, it's Gucci Mane, to be fair.
Yes,
Yeah.
that also.
That's a
but
tamer Gucci song.
It is. And I had other selections, but this was like the most recent
Okay.
and probably the best and less tame. So
Fair enough.
that's, I tried to clean it up.
I respect that.
That's cool.
I think mine is Love on Top.
Oh, that's cute.
It's not like a song that I like go to listen to, but every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot how like the song just, you know, it just feels good.
Yeah.
Just sing it.
I always think of the Marseille, was it a TikToker and meme? I don't even know what was out when she was trying to do the runs at the end. You know, it modulates at the end, and she like almost fell out when she got to the last one.
It tracks.
So mine is kind of like a Beyonce, but not really. So I would love a mashup between the Marvin Gaye and the Beyonce Before I Let Go.
Yeah.
Like every time it comes on the radio, you just feel good and want to sway.
That's a
mine.
No, that's a good one.
Those
Yeah,
are
it's a
good
really good
ones.
one.
So what was your other one?
My other one was Whitney Houston. Oh, I want to dance with somebody.
I want to feel the heat with somebody.
Yeah, I love a good, that's why I'm really enjoying the Drake, and I'm looking forward to Beyonce's album because I love a good 80s dance.
Do you think it's all gonna be like dance music? Beyonce's album, I mean?
I would love that.
I would
Let me just
love
say
it too,
that.
but I don't
Wait,
Didn't you hate
I'm
Drake's album?
right. I'm surprised
You
that
hated
said
Drake's
that.
album though, right?
I meant from the dance part. I don't like Drake's album at all. There's like two songs I kind of like.
But
I'm
explain
like, oh.
why. I thought you didn't like it because it was dance music.
No. I just didn't like it because it was like white techno dance music.
Oh, like
which-
house?
Yeah.
So you don't like Baltimore club music?
No. Because to me, that's not it either. It's a very specific genre. He does not have house music. And I don't know why people keep saying that because that's not house.
See,
that's
I feel
not
like
house. That's not techno.
I feel
It's
it's
like
close.
I feel like it's European house.
Exactly. And I don't like that.
Oh.
I like Baltimore, Chicago,
Okay, fair.
Detroit techno, ghetto tech, if you will. But I do not like. That's a genre. It's a Detroit genre, and if you're from Detroit, you already know. But
I have never been this deep in the techno house
either.
knowledge.
Only because where I'm from, like Detroit, there's a clear difference, and white people, European techno does stuff that I'll put y'all on. Let me tell you, it's
But I also
completely
feel like
different
it's not. I feel like he hasn't completely jumped into like white techno. That's like the vibe I got.
It's very Euro white techno.
Okay, I got a little zhuzh in there. I feel like he has a little seasoning. He
Yeah,
put a
I
little
like it.
seasoned salt in there.
He
A pinch
tried.
of garlic powder.
I got a pinch of garlic powder.
And I can respect
said
him
it's giving
stepping
salt and
outside.
pepper.
I can respect him giving only. No Lowry's, no dark garlic powder.
No, he did. He had a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of Cajun seasoning.
2 songs, I will agree, had
Okay.
the Tonys.
Cajuns and the Tony. Okay, but if it given a nice little seafood broil from New Orleans, but other than that, the rest of them gave. Where's the leeks and the potatoes of Europe?
Not the leeks and potatoes. Okay, I'm not gonna let you talk about
green bean casserole.
Where's the
Cream of mushroom.
Whoa, my mama loves some cream of mushroom.
Anyway, yes, I do feel strongly about it.
She probably keeps them in business.
I buy it too. Okay.
But going back to my original point, Beyonce has never done a full dance album.
Oh
Correct.
my
And
God.
I'm not a Beyonce fan, but I'm not a hater. I just know that I really love something that I can bop to. So if she does a full dance album, Beyonce, you will get a full stan out of me if you do that, because
See,
I
I
feel
don't
like
want
she.
that.
Me either.
I want some ballads.
But
I want
yeah.
a
I'm
good
okay
dance.
if it's a big album, I'm cool with that. If there's 22 songs.
Oh, she
and-
released the track list.
Oh, I missed it.
I think it's like
It's a decent 18 or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think
right?
it's around like 18.
Oh, okay, see,
Yeah.
if none of those are dance, I'm cool. If it's all 18, I'm gonna be like, oh, I want
I want a good
ballad.
ballad. I want to like cry in the shower.
Yeah. See, I've never been about. This
What's
is
wrong
why
with
y'all keep talking
Yeah.
about y'all love
Yeah.
R&B, and I'm like,
Big R&B head.
no.
That
I
toxic
do.
Brent Fayez, come
I
at
do
me.
love R&B.
Yeah,
If
me
you
too.
gonna make me
That's my
cry,
thing.
then I will just no.
I need something that I can put on the radio and have all my feelings. Like
Me
I want to
too.
hate you.
Same.
I just want to be on a
wanna love
long
you.
road trip and belt every song.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's what I
Aw.
want.
Like start
Yeah.
to finish. All
It's
right.
starting to feel like a toxic man here with like I just need everything to be happy and
No,
upbeat.
that-
That's
Oh,
Have you-
okay.
like
Well,
and dancey. Like I just
That doesn't feel toxic to me.
that's
but-
not toxic.
It doesn't.
Right.
It feels like a light among.
well, I mean,
in
it's
the midst of darkness.
escapism.
Okay, fair
Of,
enough.
Oh, okay.
Of, yes,
I
I
feel
don't
like
want
that
my
leads
music to
into
like
your-
lead me into.
Your Enneagram.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Wow, we should throw it back. I don't
It
remember
does.
doing
Wow.
That is
Go
a
back to our
throwback.
first episode ever.
We should go back to our first episode ever.
Ooh.
I
Right.
love a callback.
Yes, season 1, episode
Way
1.
to pull it in.
All right. So getting back on track, what are you talking about this week?
Oh, sorry.
We got way
Why
off.
have cried?
okay.
Just in the
I enjoyed this little tangent.
Yeah, me too.
That's
Wait,
pretty
why are you
good.
crying?
because it was funny. I was just
Oh,
laughing.
okay.
But mushroom soup got her.
I'm definitely telling my mama what y'all said.
I didn't say there was nothing wrong with
One of
it.
y'all said it, and I'm telling.
I use cream of mushroom and cream of chicken. You're supposed to mix it.
As long as you have onion powder and garlic powder.
Have y'all never not locked in on my cooking?
No, I agree.
All
I just
I
thought that it was a
know
black
is-
person staple. I didn't know it was like a white person staple.
Only if the string bean casserole, they use that to make it. Like it's in the casserole.
Yeah. It
With
is
the little like
casserole.
onion things
Yeah,
on top.
so they take
What
the
are we
onion
talking
And then we
about?
came right back. Like
What are we
straight
talking
directly
about?
back
Can we
to
please
it.
That's
talk
what I'm
about
our
saying.
podcast.
We tangent and it wasn't even tips tangent.
It wasn't. All right, let's get into the topic of the week. Jesus
Please.
Christ.
I've never been the person to bring us back on track. Look at me.
Wow, look at you growing.
Not the slow clap.
I'm too far away from the buttons. I can't give it to you.
I'm sick.
All right. So this week, our topic is going to be on weight discrimination, and our cultural reference topic is coming from mainly a post from Edutopia that talks about how a growing body of evidence suggests that weight-based discrimination begins as early as 3 years old and then persists. And this is a excerpt from a article by Paige Tutt that talks about weight bias hurting kids and how we're not even talking about it. It says in her, another expert says that by 2011, adolescents were reporting that weight bias bullying was one of the most commonly expressed forms of harassment, eclipsing bullying based on race, religion, or disability.
What year was this?
2011.
That's interesting, actually. The year.
Yeah. 2011 is when they reported this, but I feel like the year to me sounds about right, because I feel like it's just right when social media started really picking up and I don't know I'm aging myself here, but I just feel like, with especially being more photography based versus like Twitter was bigger before then, so it's kind of
Or
shifted.
like Facebook, where it's just like words mostly.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like everything is kind of shifting towards what you see and that whole missing out thing. But what's surprising to me more so is the age of like 3. Like,
yeah, it's really remarkable.
I don't.
Well, yeah, that's less.
But it just is like, it's weird to think that it's common. I guess.
Yeah,
it's
I guess I'm thinking
more so to me.
As someone with a 3-year-old, I'm just thinking about things that people say to him that, like, I try and be more conscious about. Like, people be like, oh, he's so big, instead of being like, he's tall.
Yeah.
Or like when he's at the table eating, because he's a toddler, so he's not going to eat his dinner in one sitting. He's just not.
Right.
And so instead of being like, you can't get up until you finish all your food, because that's like the old school way of saying things. It's more so like, if you feel full and you're done, you can get up, but like, we're not eating anything else until you finish dinner. You know what I mean? So like, I'm going to leave this here until you're done. But I'm just thinking about those psychological things that we go through. So I think 3 is also when they can respond back to you too. So I think they might be absorbing more at 3.
That does.
They can communicate with you better.
You were also very conscious about it like very early, because I remember when like, oh, he's so chunky and cute, and you'd be like, don't call him that. And I was like,
I think I'm so self-conscious about it too.
No, but it's real. I also wonder, like, I wouldn't have thought of like big versus tall, because I also wonder like what we're putting on these words. You know what I mean?
Facts. It's probably personal more than what it is.
I mean, it's real though. Yeah. But I never thought about it like calling like a baby like chunk, because they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to have roles and be. You know what I mean? So like, I never really thought about like the other side of like how that might be perceived. Yeah. Until you brought it to my
I think
attention.
it's also when you go to because you're going to doctor visits like every couple months with them, and they're checking their weight based on like when they were first born and this like and all that stuff too. So you're like, well, he's gaining too much weight or he's not gaining enough weight. So I think as a new first time mom, you're just kind of like, on edge on about everything. So when someone's like, obviously I knew you didn't mean to call the baby fat. I'm like, don't you call my baby fat?
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
no, but it's real.
I will be that parent.
And the only way, because people aren't thinking about it the way that you are. So the only way to protect that space and to preserve that and to honor that is to bring it to people's attention.
I think to your point, it's also about what we perceive as like what we put behind these words. Because when I see I'm going to say a cute little chunky baby, it makes me happy because I want them to also feel comfortable in that. Like, because some babies never grow out of being chunky.
Yeah.
So if you don't grow out of being chunky, you need to be comfortable with knowing that you being this way
is okay.
Is absolutely fine. Like, you're beautiful and you are cute, just like every other baby.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess, and I totally agree with that. But like, do we have to point out that part of it? Can't you just be beautiful without being?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. It's the thing that makes me think about. So I have a family member who I remember dealing with their daughter and feeling the pressures early on to manage her weight. And I just remember being like, dang, like, you're doing a lot. And this child is clearly, I mean, a lot of our food right now is very sweet, very salty. Like, there are a lot of extremes, and your child very much is attracted to this, but you are putting so much weight on this, and she doesn't even understand why. Like, your concerns, and I understand your concerns because of the perception that the rest of the world has on this can affect this person later on in life. So I understand why you have concerns about it, but it's like, you have to manage and watch not only what you are allowing in your daughter's, space, but also make sure that the people, to Carol's point, aren't treating her any differently either. Like, if you're putting so much, I remember being like, ooh, this child is like trying to sneak snacks with us because you are so against her having X, Y, and Z. And she was pretty young at the time. I remember it happening. And I remember not wanting to say, oh, you're doing horrible as a parent, but it's just one of these things of like, everything that we do has an effect on your child. As much as you're trying to do right by her to make sure she doesn't have to suffer other people's opinions later in life, she's still dealing with your opinions early in life. And it's so hard to balance. It's such a hard balance. So I felt bad. Like, I didn't want to, I'm not going to tell somebody how to parent their child, but I was just like, oh, I feel so bad. Cause like, I know that there's that weight you have to try to, how do you balance it?
Yeah.
But also, I want to just.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, what level of responsibility do we have as the people that, like, because I understand your part. Like, obviously, like, parenting is a sensitive thing, right? And you don't want to tell, like you said, you don't want to tell them they're doing a bad job, but also that line of like protecting the baby.
Yeah.
Whereas like the parent might not understand or not realize that what they're doing could be damaging.
Yeah.
But you as an outsider can understand it. So like, when do you step in?
Right.
But can I give another example that makes this tough? So like my twin nieces are vegan. And so like with a lot of people that are meat eating are not, necessarily supportive of that inherently. And so what that turns into when they're visiting other people's houses or what they're allowed to do based on you're in my house this weekend and things like that, it definitely varies because not all people have the same perception on the effects of meat on the body. And so does that make you a bad parent or does that make you an informed person trying to raise kids that are, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a lot.
And the veganism was the parent's choice, not the kid's choice, right?
Yeah. But I mean, they're also very young. Like they're not like she has an older daughter and she raised her the same way. And it's like, once you're out of my house, you obviously can eat whatever you want. But while you're living with me, like we don't eat meat in our house.
Right.
Well, living with me, like, so when they go somewhere, like for example, like your nieces were just at your parents' house. Did they stay with this vegan lifestyle while they were?
They did. I have all the leftovers of the non-meat things that they were making.
Oh, your
for
mom's
them
like, get this out of my house.
Also, some of it is really good. I just want that to be clear.
I will agree. I think that it's good. I love that, but I also know like my best friend was raised without like red meat, and so to this day she still doesn't eat red meat. And I know that it's had for her. She's just like, I don't miss it. I don't have a desire for it. So it's these things. But I also have another friend who was raised partially vegan or vegan, and she has the exact opposite. But I also think that there's some other things that we're dealing with, like family issues about weight and everything else.
Right.
So it's like trying to find that right balance is hard. And it's also, your parents or those around you dealing with their own weight issues.
Yeah.
How do they talk to you? How do they, if there's pressures about weight? Because this society, I mean, they're saying 3. So I guess you are more aware of what people are saying, even if they aren't even saying it directly to you, or how they're perceiving, I don't know, Beyonce versus how they may be perceiving Lizzo, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I think also it goes into what you can handle as an individual. Like, we can all eat the same meal and you may digest it differently than I do, and all the way around, right? So like, even in my own personal family, y'all know we eat. Like, that's what we like to do. We like to cook. We like to eat.
And the food is bomb.
All the time.
It's pretty tasty. So one of my family members, again, knowledge is power, right? Because they're learning things. They know things that work for them. Like, they don't eat pork anymore. And I'm just like, bacon's different. Bacon's not pork.
I agree. As a non-pork eater, I agree.
Right. But they also know that they can't, like, if I make fried pork chops, they're not eating that meal because they know what that does, like, for them. Like, it just doesn't make them feel good.
Yeah.
Versus if I make grilled chicken or something of that nature, another family member will not eat beef. Like, they don't like it. They won't eat it. And that's fine because maybe they tearing up a pork chop. I mean, it really also, again, it's knowledge, knowing what works, not only just understanding the impacts of these foods that we're taking in, but also knowing how it works with your body and metabolism.
Definitely.
Too.
Yeah.
But I also want to bring into the conversation what health is and looks like in these conversations, because that's the people's favorite crutch when they're talking about weight is like, oh, I just want you to be healthy. I just want you to be happy. I just want you to, but it's like, I also really had to unlearn like how weight doesn't affect a lot of shit that happens. And because that is used as such a crutch, I really had to unlearn like you can be any weight and still dealing with the same things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, even to what you were saying about like the doctor being like, oh, he's underweight or he's above weight and all of that is like so much of like, why are we still using the BMI like index?
Yes.
Like why is that still a thing? I've been overweight since I was, I don't know,
I've never not
14.
been overweight.
Yeah. So like, it just is like, in terms of like what that means internally for my health and how I'm like my actual well-being, it has very minimum in correspondence, in correlation.
Speaking from personal experience, and never, again, that scale thing, I've never fallen into that. Even from childhood, I've always been overweight, if you will. And even up until into my 20s, I've been heavy. And doctors were baffled at the fact that I didn't have any health issues per se, like high blood pressure, sugar issues. Like that's never been a challenge for me.
Diabeticals.
If anything, my weight just made me feel uncomfortable in society because society isn't made for people who are overweight. Like if you are not a comfortable 175, then it's just not made for you. Okay, fine. So I know I made a decision to have weight loss surgery, lost a significant amount of weight, and it made me feel comfortable in society's terms, but I was healthiest at my biggest than I am even today. Like I have different challenges that have come with it, like back issues, things like that. It's just, and doctors are like, well, it could be like, that's every doctor's go-to is your weight.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's a bunch of BS. Like, I can't really subscribe to it and even still have challenges with it. But,
Is that because we're like a visual society?
Yes.
Because it's very interesting to me that I understand being a doctor is a practice. So like every person is not the same. Right. So when we're talking about weight in general, I can understand as a doctor being like, okay, on average, somebody who is larger may have these health issues.
Right.
But when did it become such a forward? I also have to take a step back. I also know that we have become a more sedentary society.
Yes.
And that
especially post-pandemic.
Right.
That's something.
And our food has been, in our country especially, but I'm sure in others, has been easier to access. So we are talking about a lot of food that's sweet, salty. We're not moving as much. And so I can understand visually, perceptively being like, oh, on average, before we used to see people, if they were this big and visual, that they may not be healthy. But I don't know if like the doctors are lagging in understanding that health isn't always visual. Like I understand that you on average might, but you still need to assess the person before making these decisions. Or has this been something that
I think it's beauty standards too. Like, like what in the 1800s, the larger you were, the more money you had, like your social status is higher. And then at some point, like what in the 20s, I was reading something like Marilyn Monroe was considered plus size, but she really was like a size 8.
Kim Kardashian can't even fit her dress.
Yeah, like a size 6 or something because I think we talked about like vanity sizing and all that stuff too, like how things have changed. So I think a little bit of that is like as beauty standards change, I think people change what body types. Because even like right now, BBL bodies are in. So like the big butt, big boobs, small waist, which is most people don't obtain this naturally. But for whatever reason, like that's the beauty standard right now. But when we were in high school, well, I know at least in Northern Virginia, the ideal body was like a size 4, size 2. Like
I actually just saw like a TikTok video that was talking about how the ideal body type has changed in each decade. And it was very illuminating. It was very interesting. But yeah, when we were in high school, it was like being like,
skinny, like not in like maybe big boobs were like a thing too. Like it's like white people love big boobs. Like I don't know how else to say that. At least white men in particular. Like I feel like that's their zhuzh. Yeah. So like I think the girls in high school that had big boobs were like, that's one thing, but almost all of them were like starving themselves to be a size 2 or a size 4. Like
the midriff thing was
like
in those low rise jeans. Couldn't have no ass doing that.
No,
not one at all.
Yeah,
not
but
even
I went to
one
like
cheek.
Back up just a little bit because I was thinking too, we were talking about this in like cartoons, for example. Like now I'm watching way more cartoons. Like I'm watching Hey Arnold. And I'm making him do throwbacks. So
like that.
Dang, I can't even remember the boys, but the bully Harold, is like big. His tummy is out, like his shirt don't fit. I don't know why they couldn't get him a shirt that fit, but like he has a little midriff showing, crop top, and some shorts. But he's a bully. But like they never really address why he's a bully or like why he's mean. No one's really mean to him, which is usually time it's like I feel like bullies are usually like developed because they were mean. You know what I mean? Like they were picked on, so like it's like a defense mechanism.
What you're saying, I'm gonna be a counterpart though, because Helga is also a really big bully and she's skinny, and they tell you why.
True, but I feel like Harold. Why can't we get Harold's backstory? I want to know why he mad.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
Something else I was watching too, I was just like, dang, all the mean people are bigger. I don't like it.
I don't
like it either. Because I'm nice sometimes.
Man, we were just talking in the car about how you were a bully in high school.
I mean, that's why I said sometimes. Not all the time.
To certain people during certain times of the day catch her on the right day.
Just don't try me, and then we cool.
Lord Jesus.
Like, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I just want to bring it back that these kids are it's ingrained in kids, even in their cartoons, that bigger is bad.
Yeah. But I also like want to get back to the doctor conversation because I don't know what that's. I sometimes I feel like it's like the lowest hanging fruit of like what could potentially be wrong, because if weight was leading to every sickness, no skinny people would be in the hospital.
Right. But also, sorry, I just want to say really quickly, they say that, but then, because Sam didn't say, they've never been like, you should try this like eating plan. Like I've never been told to change my diet besides stop eating sweets and carbs, but no one's ever given me like a good
sustainable.
I have, but the difference is that doctors don't have to be trained in nutrition, which is mind blowing. Yeah. And so I think that that's part of like the core of like what causes this friction between people who have different eating habits, like being vegan, like not eating certain foods, because there is like an acknowledgement that all of what we eat takes an effect on our internal organs and insides. But doctors are not the people that are reporting that because they're not educated in nutrition. And so like when we see things that are like these stories about like What the Health and all these things that have happened on Netflix, and we're talking about how like organic foods are really good for us because of all the things that they're putting in these GMO foods and the preservatives and all that stuff, like it falls on deaf ears. You sound like you're a conspiracy theorist because you're informed. You know what I mean? And like, while all things are not created equal, and I'm like, I eat what I want. So like, you can be informed and have cognitive dissonance too. But I just feel like there is definitely that discord when it comes to getting educated on your health and going to a doctor and expecting them to have all the answers when they are not even educated on one of the easiest ways to sort out a lot of health issues.
Also, it's not to their benefit for us to be healthier either.
I will tell you right now, as somebody who went through a different type of medical school, who is paying for those books is all of the
Texas Instruments and Big Pharma.
And so, and the only thing they are teaching is how to assess if there's a problem and what to give when there's a problem. There's never been, so that's why you hear like a lot of people, there's most the schools, I mean, they're being paid for by Big Pharma, so there's that. But then you also have to think about where doctors are only being taught to assess what is the issue, not how to prevent it. So that's why a lot of people are doing like holistic medicines and going to holistic doctors, which is not a Western type of thinking. It's not what you do.
And now you're weird.
Right.
Getting acupuncture.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Kevin Gates.
No.
How did we fall so down the slide?
Come on. Also, why is he like the pinnacle right now in this conversation?
It's just for you. It's not for us. Just to be clear.
No.
Okay. Right, that part.
I will say though, I think like I can remember going back to what this initially started off with our age and individuals informing us about our weight and how to counteract our weight with what we ate. Like I remember my mom like didn't let us eat red meat for a good amount of time, and the conversation wasn't about how this will keep you healthy and you may not have any heart disease or whatever red meat does for you, which I don't claim to know all the information regarding it. And I don't think my mom did at the time. The biggest thing she was saying was, you know, I want to keep you healthy, one, which I think that was an all-encompassing thing, but also I want you to stay small. Like I can remember there's a story about my grandmother that is absolutely hilarious, but if you don't have context, you won't understand. But long story short, when my uncle and his wife came into her house, the first thing my grandmother noted was how big they had gotten.
Right.
And her first thing was like,
why is that
doing that?
in Black people
every single time?
Yes.
Caribbean too.
So she was like, you guys are so big, you're so big. And then like, wild. But I know that then coming down to my mom, who has, I can remember my father saying, and like, there are a broader circle of friends that his wife and another friend of theirs and one other were like the smallest women in the room. And then my mom, you know, and him having a back and forth conversation, but that's very important to her. So I know that transcribed into how she fed us, how she talked to us about our weight to this day is a conversation, because we we have been smaller, we have been bigger, and now we're somewhere in between. But it's always like a constant conversation because of the way in which I think she was raised. And so it's hard for me to even think about, like, I know I could be eating better. I know I could be exercising. Am I doing any of those things right now? No. And I'm enjoying myself.
Right.
There.
But
I'm happy.
Right. I am happy. But I have been smaller. Y'all have seen me smaller. Y'all have probably seen me bigger. It has been my own personal journey of figuring out, like, how to unlearn and unthink about it on a constant basis.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not waking up, looking in the mirror and being like, dang, you used to be smaller. I am 40, almost about to be 42 years old.
Right.
This weight ain't really weighting the way that it was weighting before. And that's just life. Can I be smaller? Yes. Can I?
Is it harder to get it off?
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have to, you know, for me, I'm having to be like, if you're worried about your health, be worried about your health outside of your weight.
Looks,
and I think that's something that what they're trying to say here.
Wow, that's a bar.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
That's not what I'd be thinking about.
Trust me, it was not overnight. But I think that that's what they're trying to get. The point that they're trying to make in this article that we talk about is it shouldn't be about weight. It really ought to be about health. But how do you learn these things? How do you grow in these ways? How do you counteract what you're seeing every day?
Yeah.
How do you counteract what you're talking about with family members every day? Like, it's just
Your relationship with food.
right.
Right. It's a lot. Like,
It's a lot.
figuring out that intersection between like being happy with where you are and being healthy is really hard to
That's
find.
crazy.
Because it can be like, when I'm like really on it, like when I'm at my healthiest, I am constantly thinking about it. Like it's every decision point. It's it's that consistency. It's like, it's not an ambient decision. You know what I mean? It is very intentional, and that's not sustainable. Like when I'm doing that, it's for like an event, for a thing. It's not like it's Tuesday. All right, this is what I got to do. And so like when people talk about that and they're like, oh, like, you know, you don't want to be motivated. You want to be consistent. And I'm like, okay, but how?
What does that look like?
This is also like, every person that I hear say it is like, well, this is what you get paid on Instagram to do, though.
Yeah.
So like, when this is not what your 9 to 5 is, then what does your consistency look like? What does that health look like for you? You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's what is like needed. Just like an example of like what healthy habits look like when it's not taking up 90% of your brain space.
Ooh, can we also get into, I don't remember if we shared it in this group, but let's also talk about where we are at in this country and how much it costs for food. I just posted on my IG story. This will probably be a couple weeks later, but nonetheless, talking about how like free food programs are going to stop in the schools. I was watching, there was a post a while ago, and I think I saved it, but a young lady moved to Thailand, and she said it was the easiest she'd ever had to worry about food in her whole entire life. She felt like when she was in the United States, she had to constantly think about where she was going to get food, how she was going to afford to get the food, you know, what that food was going to look like, whether or not it was going to be healthy, not going to be healthy. So then you're going to talk about all of that. Then I cannot, maybe can or cannot afford to eat healthy in the first place. And then you're going to talk about my weight. Like pick a struggle.
I also saw one that was like that in Thailand. She was like, it used to cost me $3 to eat three meals a day. And I was eating out for every single meal. I didn't cook for 2 years. And now that I'm back in America, I have to go get the food, cook the food, clean up the food, think about what I'm going to make next for the food. Like everything is like, it's costing me 10 times more, and it's taking up 50% more of my time in order to create it. It's not even like it's cheaper because I'm making it. No, it's still significantly more expensive. And I'm not even like, so much of my time in like mental spaces is being taken up to like make sure that we're eating. It's very exhausting.
I mean, to that point, like outside of it being exhausting, it's just, so this is how I think about it. Like you said, you have to go get the food, cook the food, all these things. I don't know about y'all. When I go grocery shopping, I'm grabbing food on the way home.
Do that too.
Yeah, because I'm tired.
Because by the time I get finished shopping for the food and mentally thinking about, okay, I'm going to cook this on this day, this on this day. This person doesn't eat that. So now I got to do that. Like all of those different things. Get the food, take the food home, put the food away. I don't want to cook nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being the cook and you cook all the food. Like now I don't even want to eat the food that I cook because I just got finished cooking food.
Listen,
Yeah, or
that's
it's like,
the smartest decision you can make in my book.
Yeah, or I don't know about you guys, but like sometimes I end up eating the exact same things every week because I know it's easy. Like I know I can just do this really quickly.
Easy.
Looks like it's like muscle memory. I can just make tacos really quick. Like I can just do that really quickly. We're chicken and something. We literally eat tacos once a week because it's the easiest thing to. I don't have to think about it. The way
Patrick is like, we are not Mexican.
Yes,
why are we eating tacos so much?
We're adjacent. We're Mexican adjacent. We're Mexican adjacent. Okay.
Listen, look, I know somebody in my family must
have something that can be. We're all have different flavors every week when I make it, and it takes as little time. Then we can talk. Until then,
you can have chicken tacos, shrimp tacos, fish tacos.
You can make fajitas. You can make tacos. You can make a quesadilla. You can make taco salad. You can make nachos. You can make a breakfast
all burrito. With the same
stuff. I feel like Bubba Gump with shrimp. Like we just listed at least like 10 or 15 options.
It is important.
I'm on the same page as y'all. But back to what you were saying about like people saying it's a lifestyle change, not like a
I was gonna punch those people in the face.
Well, I follow this lady. Her brand is called Grow with Joe. She has like a lot of free workout videos online. She has an app, all this kind of stuff. And she recently just posted about how mentally she wasn't in a good space. So she was gaining weight to bulk, but then she was gonna like tone,
start lifting, yeah.
But when she was doing that, her mental health was off because she's used to being a certain size. So her body changing affected her mental health because she's not used to being that large. And so then she started gaining more weight because now her mental health is off. And so then she did a video about how like she's had to, change things up and she's lost weight and toned, but she was just like, it's a lot of things are affected when our weight is, at least I can only speak for women because I'm a woman,
right?
But like when our weight is off, a lot of things change. Like I remember when I got pregnant, I was really stressed about losing the weight because I remember before I even thought about having children, this woman that I worked with was like, if you don't lose your baby weight in 3 months, you're lazy.
Oh,
and I was just like, so in my head, subconsciously,
was she a single mom?
No, and her husband's rich.
Okay, man.
So, which I understand.
Just take a seat.
Yes, exactly. So I know like your level of life is very different than a lot of people's. You have a lot of luxuries that a lot of people don't have. But I'm just like, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got to lose the weight in 3 months or I'm lazy. But at the same time, I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah.
I have a newborn. I'm trying to go back to work.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of things happening that affect, and it's real. And same thing, I'm not an old mom, but I'm in my 30s. Like, it's harder to lose weight. I didn't believe people when they told me when I was in college, they're like, you're not going to be able to eat French fries and cook out like you're doing now. Like, it's going to change when you hit 30. I was like, ma'am, not me. Now I'm 30. I'm like, God dang.
His host was right.
Right. It's like, it is harder to lose weight when you're 30. Like things are different when you hit 30. So it's just harder. But for me, the more weight I gain, my mental health is like, pew, it's like in the toilet.
It's also interesting because of my brand, I follow a lot of like bikini competitors or like people that are like heavily in the fitness space. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times when they're cutting, they'll be talking about like, they'll share like what they're eating so that when they're on stage that they are like the most strapped, like yoked, like they've ever been. And they'll be like really proud, like in the moment. And a lot of times, like when they're no longer competing, like a year or two after, they'll talk about their mental health in that space when they were like really, really on it. And they'll talk about how they had eating disorders, how they were like obsessive compulsive about things, how they had like really poor relationships with food, because everything is like a number. Like when you're thinking about like, well, I'm going to eat rice or I'm going to eat salad or I'm going to eat chicken or I'm going to eat this burger. Like all of it is like the macronutrients that are going into this and what I can eat or what I have left in my calorie count for the day. Like how much did I work out? Okay, that means I can eat this and things of that nature. And it is like, I almost don't like how people are like, when you just change like a couple of aspects of your eating and then that's how you like lose weight or that's how you change your weight. It is really hard for me to perceive because even like for me, when I'm trying to like lose weight, I have to count macros. Like I don't until I like can really like put how much of this and how much of this equals how many calories equals how many proteins. Like it's really hard for me to know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Until then, like I'm guessing. And then like, is that having a healthy relationship with food? Right. Is it just like creating the framework so that I can then like have a better understanding of like what a handful of nuts is? You know what I mean? Okay, so all that to say that I don't know. I just like how to create that healthy relationship with food when you are trying to like lose weight. And, we see all of these people in the media that are, oh, I'm size 2 or I'm size 1 or I lost a ton of weight in order to wear this dress for this event. And like what that does to your mental in terms of what like being healthy or losing weight sustainably looks like is kind of lost.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Yeah. So, I mean, if we're talking about media, I'm not going to say I'm trying to figure out how I want to say that in addition to that. But so for me, media, the local, I'm fluffy. I like being fluffy. It's fine. So don't nobody send no messages about, oh, it's okay. No, I'm
You're so brave. That's my favorite.
Right, you're so brave, or I love you so much because you're just so. I don't know. There's lots of things you can say, but with media, I feel like when you're subconscious about certain things that you post, right? I know like a lot of members of my family, when we take pictures, like don't do that. Make sure we don't want full body pictures, right? So when you catch a full body, it's very abnormal, or it's like if you first of all, if you don't have the arm wing and you trying to cook some mac and cheese, don't try me. Don't at me.
You gotta have this.
You gotta be able to fly in the kitchen in order for the macaroni.
Fly in the kitchen.
Yeah, you gotta be.
That's across all macaroni and cheese, my tacos, the way my Italian food. Like
Patrick says he's challenging you.
No, we ain't doing it.
Listen, I think that there should be a cook-off.
I mean, I'm down for the cook.
Look, I can bring smoke.
Hey, sounds like a cook-off.
It's a little spicy to me.
Yeah.
Now that the next podcast is at someone's house.
Okay. I mean, and that's fine. But anyway, I feel like when you are heavier, you are way more subconscious or way more conscious about what you post, so that you don't get those comments, so that people don't so they won't put on their projections about how they feel about. Like some people are like, hey, Queen, like I know I follow a lot of plus size people just because I need the mental boost a lot of time. Like I need for someone to tell me it's okay for me to be me. Fair. Versus following someone who is a size 0 who's working out all the time, because that's just not my life right now.
That's real.
So I mean, that might be how my algorithm is set. But I mean, even then, like sometimes I don't feel like dressing because I just be tired. I got shit going on. But I follow plus size models. So I'm just like, that is a banging ass outfit. Like that is cute. Like I wouldn't have thought to put that together. But it's also my preconceived notions of what is okay. Even by having even people close to you, like your family, like, you see what she wearing? And I'm like, well, what's wrong with it? Well, her body is out.
You know what this also presents to me? What my question always is about this stuff is like, so if I never lose weight, am I never allowed to wear that? Like, is that the other end of the spectrum? Right. Like, I can never wear the clothes that I like inherently. Right. Because I don't have the body for it, according to you.
Yeah. Like, people really do think like that. And I'm just like, and I grew up thinking that way. But then as you grow, again, knowledge is power. When you learn things for yourself, you're just like, I don't see what's wrong with it. If that person feels comfortable in what they got on, let them post whatever they're going to post, because they're inspiring somebody, me, to do what they want and wear what they want, how they want. Like, I got real thick thighs, but there's people that like real thick thighs. I mean,
Yeah. It reminds... Oh. Are you
No.
Not with your hand up. Not with your hand up.
Okay.
Need to add it on.
I'm that person.
I was about to make the most inappropriate joke.
Do it. Do it.
I was just about to say, not say like an earmuffs.
Yes. Not with that smile.
I like that we pause so we can cut it out if we choose to.
No, it was that light bulb for me. I was like, what? Okay.
And moments when to shut out the world.
I'll tell you right now, I have no shame. I enjoy a nice thigh just lay on.
I mean, they save lives.
It's a thing. I mean, I know everybody here is not able to understand, but a soft thigh is my thing. It's my thing. I love it. And I will also say too, it's so interesting in this conversation that as you were talking, it made me think about I don't have a type. Like I
ain't got no type.
None. I do like a guy.
Is the only thing.
Okay, I was
I was trying to figure out how to remix it effectively.
But it made me think about the trajectory of like I've been on all spectrums of dating individuals, all spectrums and sizes. But it was so interesting to me when you were talking because I was like, oh, but I've never, like, I've had to contend with my own way of me being me and my own size and whether or not that was attractive to other people, right? Like, I didn't mind who I dated,
right?
But I often wondered if I was going to attract all types of people because some people are very much like, oh, I remember one person I dated was like, oh, I've never dated anyone who was bigger than me. And at that time, I probably wasn't that small.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
But she was talking about you?
Yes.
Oh, is this a compliment?
Why didn't you tell us? Because I would have fought her. Why?
She's irrelevant.
That's the best part of having a friend that's a lesbian because I can fight your significant others.
I love it. I never thought about that. Hey. But yeah, so like contending with as I was gaining weight and not being sure how to approach all types of individuals, especially individuals who may have been smaller than me, having had someone be like, oh, you're the first person who I've dated. And I didn't think about it being, until you were talking, I didn't think about it being something that I had actually been thinking about. And I don't know if you guys have dealt with this as well. Like, have you approached different people based on where you were mentally on the size that you
like
are?
you date your self-esteem?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Because I literally
no, my self-esteem is consistent.
No, I have a type and they all thick. Well, now I have a type.
But so I will say that I have, again, I have dated the spectrum, but I have not, as I've gotten bigger, and it wasn't until you mentioned that, then I was like, oh, I think that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm dating and not even approaching smaller women because I think that has messed with me mentally. And I didn't even think about that being a thing until I'm just like, oh,
interesting.
Like that may really be why I am, again, I love a thick thigh. Like, that is my jam. And a little bit of booty. Not mad at that either. But, and in retrospect, I was thinking, and honestly, I will also say, I've dated skinny women. I don't mind skinny women either, but I do. I mean, you got a little meat. That's my thing. But it was just like interesting. I was like, oh, am I doing this because I am bigger now? And am I not approaching people who may have had that same reaction as that person before? That's what you made me think about. And I'm like, it may be. And I'm not going to say later on this week. We'll
unpack that.
Yes, because I was just like, dang, I didn't even think about that, but it may be.
Really interesting to think about.
But I wonder if that's because you like women. Because I'm thinking for me, it doesn't have, like, what I'm attracted to has never changed.
Based on where
I was, but like me going out, me what I had on, me being more social has changed.
I mean, as I mentions it does track for me because I like, granted, my man is not as tall as the next. He's average height, but I've always been attracted to a bigger, husky man. Like, when I look at you, I'm like, oh, he can scoop it. Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that. That's what I'm thinking about in my mind. Like, but I've also dated someone who was skinny and tiny. I'm just like, well, I feel like I'm about to break.
Yeah. I think that's the thing too, is that like, I'm trying to think of a time that I ever gave a skinny guy a chance. I think I was in middle school. Yeah. It doesn't. Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. I just feel like, I just remember distinctly one time in like college, someone who was like really skinny was like, his friends were like, oh, he likes you, or like, you blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh. That's cute. Like, that's cute, huh? Yeah. You're probably, that challenge of like right now of like wives trying to pick their husbands up and put them on the counter. The way I could have done it with one arm. Like, sir, if you don't. That's never been, I don't know. If I feel like I'm putting my leg on your leg and in 5 minutes you're going to be like, all right, you got this. Your leg is too heavy. Like, we have a problem. Like, we can't do that. Yes. So I do, when you were talking, I was like, oh, but I've never really acknowledged that has to do with my own weight. Yeah. But I think it does.
It does.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's
Yeah. Never mind. I'm not.
No, say it.
No, I was gonna say, when I was younger, I didn't really have a type. So like, I would date anyone that like we vibed. Yeah. So like, I didn't really care what you looked like as much. Like, as long as we vibed, it was fine. As I got older, I would say probably my 20s. I was just kind of like, I would like a certain girth. Not girth. That's not what I meant.
You said what you said.
That's not what it. What do you mean?
With thickness?
Yeah.
Okay, none of that.
His body, not his dick. His body.
Circumference.
You said what you said. I'm here for it, sis.
I meant his body type, not his dick type.
Set your standard.
Okay, we can move on.
Set your standard.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Anyway.
Okay, so but the media, I think we got off course.
Sorry,
for this
it just made me think about. So back to media. To your point about posting, I mean, I even think about how we are right now. I gotta have a little blouse because there's something under here.
Not a blouse.
Well, when I think of media, I was thinking of like TV, not social media.
Oh,
We could talk about both.
Yeah.
Well,
But I was
mean,
thinking,
Art,
Well, they say the
art
TV
media.
adds 10 pounds.
Well, I was thinking too, like in terms of like the Tyra Banks thing.
okay.
Just
Okay.
recently.
Yes.
So Tyra Banks actually has notoriously like been she's known as a supermodel, which is she was very tall, very skinny. I guess even then she was thicker for a supermodel. She's never been like
right?
Yeah, she's like a big booty, but I also feel like I don't know if she's ever been like skin like their version of because back in the day it was like you had to be a very, very specific size to be like a runway model.
Right.
And I think she kind of broke that mold a little bit because of her body type.
Right.
And so and I also remember when she had her TV show, she had gained weight. But anyways, a girl that used to be on America's Top Model just tweeted like, "Oh, remember when you tried to body shame me because when I was a size 2?"
But she tweeted it using a picture of Tyra crossing the street.
And Tyra's bigger than she has been in the past. So it's like you're body shaming her because she body shamed. And also, it wasn't even Tyra that body shamed her. It was like one of the other judges. So it's like
Jay
you're
or
also
something.
you're also tagging the wrong person. But whatever, like you felt body shamed, like you were hurt. So now you're hurting someone else. Yeah.
Speak on it.
You know, they say hurt people hurt
interesting.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that reminds me of like how people portray Lizzo, for example, versus like Megan Thee Stallion. I feel like they're both probably like they're both really popular right now, and they both like to dress provocatively and twerk everywhere.
Yep.
And show their bodies.
Yeah. Lizzo is a bigger woman who likes to wear revealing clothing and twerk with her booty in the camera all the time.
Yep.
Yes.
But she's probably, her and Megan are probably doing the exact same things, but Lizzo's getting way more flack
Right.
than Megan
Because
is.
of where we are in society with our weight and the perception of weight and what that means about you. Like, I feel like people are like putting on like that you're either like lazy or you don't care about your health or you're out here just trying to get a man or like trying to make people want you because you're not desirable or not whatever everyone else is saying is the trend for whatever it is right now.
Right.
But going back to like where we are in media, like I like in complete contrast to both of these women, whenever I see a show where the main woman is a white woman for the most part, they are so skinny, it like scares me. Like I honestly am like watching these women and I'm like, if somebody blows on you, you're going to fall over. Like they're super, super skinny. And I don't know if it's because of watching Lizzo and because of watching Meg and how we're in this trend of BBLs and that being the complete contrast of what has been mainstream for so long, which has been a white woman who has been like a size 0 or 2 or whatever. I don't even know what those sizes look like. But I'm just saying, like, so small and wafty. Like, those are complete contrasts of what we're seeing right now. Like, social media and music industry is completely different than what we're seeing with mainstream TV. And to me, it's scary to watch and see these white women who I'm like, you're a little, like, I remember, like, is it the woman from Ally McBeal or whatever? Like, she's so tiny.
Wow, what a throwback.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, because I don't watch too many shows now that have a lead white woman. Let's just be honest. Oh, I know, the Good Old Emily in Paris, right? Is that the show?
Yeah.
She's super wafty, like wafty. And I was like,
when you say wafty, what does that mean? Like she wispy? Like she's small?
Do we need a GTS?
Yeah. She just really like, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing to her. She's little.
She's petite and skinny.
Yes.
She's like a little.
Yeah, she's like a little person in all respects.
I feel
and
like,
so.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, from there. If anybody watches the show where there's the three women are like robbing banks or whatever.
Good Girls.
Good Girls. The one main character has a really big chest, and I was like, oh my God, her chest is so big. But I loved seeing.
That's what you noticed? That her titties were big.
But she's also she's hippie. But
yeah, she's also not skinny. Like, she's not
skinny.
Yeah.
So, like,
but she has, but I feel like that is like, it's also idyllic in a different way. So because in the show that she originated on was Mad Men, and like 80% of her character on the show was about men fawning after her because of her body shape. So
okay.
That's so like, I mean, it's very different in that show for sure, but like that was like a big trope in that show. I think that the first example that comes to mind in terms of like wafty, white women on TV shows.
This word wafty, white women.
Is Megan Fox when she was in Transformers, and she was supposed to come back in like the third one or something, and the director refused to. They recasted her role because she was so skinny and she like refused to gain weight. Like the director was like, "You're too thin. Like it's scary."
What happened?
And she was like, "No." And so that aspect is interesting. But I also like, I feel like I'm part of the problem when it comes to Lizzo, and that makes me feel terrible. But I also want to be honest about it.
Okay,
like she's so talented that I'm like, does this have to be everything we see? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? And I want to be like,
do you feel the way about Megan?
I'm about to compare it in a second.
Okay.
I feel like with two things, not with Megan, because I feel like, I don't want to say that she's not talented. I just feel like that is her mode. Like that is how she decided she's going to profit. But like, to me, Lizzo is like classically trained. She can play the flute. Like because she has more range, it just seems like she doesn't have to be boxed into that, but she's choosing to be, which is an interesting choice to me.
Can I say that just include this?
Okay.
Perhaps she's trolling, because I would.
I respect that. But okay. But I feel like I had the same sentiment about Lady Gaga when I realized how talented she was. And I was like, you don't have to be this weird.
Like the gimmick?
Yeah. Like you don't have to choose. Like I understand like a gimmick can help you get in the door and like help you blow up. But I feel like that doesn't have to be all we know you for. And I feel like Lady Gaga has definitely made that transition. But I also want to give one more example is I'm nervous about Chloe Bailey doing the same thing.
Okay. So my only side point to Lizzo would be, I wonder if she tried to do that and she didn't pop off. Like, was she trying to be the classically trained flautist and doing all that stuff? But
I'm not saying that, like, I understand like what a gimmick can do to start your career.
But to keep it?
Yeah. But like now Lizzo is Lizzo. So like now I'm like, but you can show more range. Even if this is something that you keep in your wheelhouse because it's something that makes you feel good and you like doing it. Like I'm not even like saying that stop doing this, do something else. I should have played the soundbite. Yes. But that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is like, I would like to see more of you in a different light.
Right.
As a fan, that's what I think.
Okay. That's fair. I do understand your point about Chloe too. Like it seems I thoroughly enjoy Chloe Bailey.
Me too.
Sometimes it does feel like a lot.
I just feel like it doesn't have to be all, like I understand, I feel like she's in that Janet moment where she is trying to transition from being like this family brand to being like, no, I'm grown, I'm independent. But I also wonder if she's doing it so hard because her sister is being the Disney like Little Mermaid. So like she needs to differentiate herself. She has to be the other end of the spectrum. But I'm like, but that you don't have to box yourself in there either. So like to me, like I understand that there is a strength in being sexually like owning your sexuality and being like sex forward. I understand that it is a strong moment. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody. All I'm saying is like, it can be another box. While you're trying to break out another box, it can put you back in one if that is all that you're portraying.
It's interesting for them in particular, I felt different only because I watched Grownish.
Right.
And they have a very different like persona on Grownish. So for me, like that transition for me felt different because I remember seeing them like little.
Yeah.
And on Grownish, I was like, oh, I keep forgetting that they're like adults now. And so that like gave me that. So when she transitioned to be a lot more sexy. And even like when they both were cussing on Instagram, I'm like, oh wow, I keep forgetting you guys aren't like 12.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I don't feel like Chloe's persona on Grownish is that different from her like newfound sexuality.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it doesn't feel like it. Well, I feel like it's not as overt.
Box. Oh, yeah. Because I feel like when she broke up with Dougie, is that his name on the show?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very much the same.
This is his real name.
Like I'm having sex with other people. Like I'm on my grown. Like I'm bad. I'm grown. You know what I mean? And it was showing like the caveats to that also, but it was still like to me in this similar mode.
I feel you.
I feel like it's a. Oh, sorry. You had something. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say
double dutching for a minute.
She has been.
I watch when they do their Instagram live sometimes when they used to. And Chloe definitely gives me the spicy sister, like the spicy sister that will cuss you smooth out and be like, I don't give a fuck. And then Haley gives me, I'm going to try to keep the peace and be nice about the situation. And I remember even when they were, I don't even want to call it coming out as adults because that's what it felt like.
I mean, you're a man now.
Oh, yeah. Right. And Chloe was super sexy and Haley was, I remember right when they announced that she was going to be the Little Mermaid, and then she posted this video on Instagram of her in a t-shirt and some drawers, and I'm like, wow, it was very respectful looking, and she wasn't out here wild, and people were like, oh my God, I can't believe she's showing her body like that. I'm like, but she grown though.
Right.
Like, if she want her cheeks out, let her have her cheeks out.
Yeah. I think it's that transition from like us having to remember that you're not 12 anymore.
Right.
Or you're also you're probably playing characters that are way younger than you actually are in real life.
Yeah.
Too. So
it also makes me think of, and this might be maybe a bad example, but it makes me think of like Fresh Prince. And how I mean is when we grew up watching Fresh Prince, you had Uncle Phil, you had Aunt Viv, like people who just looked very, I'm not going to say they look regular, but they look like what a
age appropriate
normal family looks like. And then you have Fresh Prince now, and I'm just like everyone was like, oh, Uncle Phil could get it, and I'm just like, but he's Uncle Phil. You're not supposed to think about Uncle Phil.
But now we're the same age as Uncle Phil,
right? He's still fine.
I mean, well, not quite. I mean, he's still younger than what Uncle Phil would be,
but in their 40s.
In my mind,
but you get what I mean. It's not like he's our dad's age.
If we're talking about weight and body shaming or body appreciation, I think that this form of media transition is exactly what is our society. Because you have Uncle Phil, who is an overweight, a regular man. He's overweight. You have Aunt Viv, who you can tell just lives her life, but maybe she's health conscious. I don't know. I'm making assumptions.
No,
but then
they've been doing aerobic classes.
Yes. She's a dancer. All these things. They have these children who do what they do, but then you have the new Fresh Prince family, and everybody look like they working out.
Yeah, well, I will say too. Well, and even like Hillary in the older version, while still cute, and she was always covered up. Like I don't remember ever seeing Hillary in. But it's probably because what was popular, what wasn't. Like I never remember seeing her in a crop top, but maybe like in like a mini dress. But Hillary now, I don't think I never saw her stomach. Like she was in like crop top blazers, like for Chanel blazers for most of the episode.
Annoying. That trend is so annoying.
It is. I hate those crop top blazers. But all I'm saying is like even her, or even when she did that like the sexy chef or whatever, like when she was cooking in her lingerie, like we would. It might also just
back in the day would never.
Right. I think maybe it's like where we are now, like where that's normal. Where, you know what I mean? Like that's our norm. Whereas in the 90s, 2000s, people weren't really dressing like that on TV.
Yeah. But I do think it's interesting. I feel like in all these shows that we're bringing up, like I can't think of like a plus sized person in these. When I'm thinking about Grownish, I'm thinking about Fresh Prince. Like what other like new age shows are there? Like there's not
a plus size friend.
Yeah, like there's not like a plus size motif cast member, main character that I can really pull on right now.
Well, only one I know about is comedy based, and it's because it's who she is in reality. The Miss Pat show, and she's larger. Anyway, she's a larger woman.
But I don't even. What show is that?
BET Plus. It's really good. I listened to a second season.
I don't have BET.
It's really good.
It's
an really, app, right?
Good. I listened to her podcast, so plug in on the podcast, but it's really good. Nonetheless,
you got to log in.
We'll talk about it later.
Anyway, so all that to say, I think that's the point, though. Too, when we are talking about media, and when we're talking about the differences between media and like the music industry, these individuals that we are questioning with regards to having one way of platform, I think it may be also because there is no other outlet that's doing that. To your point, Tiff, like with regards to no TV show is really having anyone large, right? So people who have control of their social media, who have control of what they're putting out there.
Grey's Anatomy.
That's a good point. Oh, I stopped watching after season like 12 of that show. So
Miranda.
Yeah, but she's.
Bailey.
She's what the world considers plus size, but she's not plus size.
Yeah,
but
she's also like 5'2", so like her weight
all
is
I'm
relative.
saying is you said you didn't know one, and I just gave you one.
Okay.
It took me a long time to find
I was thinking of new age shows. That show's been on since we were in high school.
It's new age.
Is it?
It's still on. They have new seasons.
Yeah. Okay. I just meant like a show that's come out in the last 5 years. So like, Insecure, Grownish, Fresh Prince,
Insecure has
Reboot.
one? Kelly.
Okay. Yeah. You're right.
And Kelly B. Kellyanne.
Kelly B. Kellyanne. She has main character energy I've ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the fact that we had to really dig deep into the archives to find it, though, when I feel like that was I feel like that was a part of the formula in the 90s and 2000s, though.
Yeah. Also, Patrick just came in to save us with Kat from Euphoria.
Oh, I love me some Kat.
And that was like a big piece of the storyline,
too.
I love me some Kat.
Yeah.
That's
my favorite
character.
The
point of her character in general is the one thing that we're sitting up here and talking about. That's
for sure.
Thanks, Patrick. That's a really good plug. But I also think, that being said, that's a show that's not on like ABC.
A main
thing.
It's not a free.
And they're not. That's not something like, whole family can sit down and watch at all.
It's not, but I'm also a little, now that I'm thinking about it, her character, while I appreciate the topics they're talking about, like, is that annoying to you guys? That like her being bigger and her storyline has to be around her weight?
So I was just wondering the same question in my mind, but I kind of appreciate that we get to see that because we don't in so many other aspects. Like Kelly and Insecure, she's bigger, but it's not a topic of conversation. We're not ever hearing like, and it's Kelly, so there's probably a reason that we're not hearing like what she's contending with.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just feel like, a lot of effort is done in like, Fresh Prince Reboot. All the characters are dark skinned. So like there is a conscious effort in some respects where people want to bring...
Why?
Sorry.
Just kidding.
You don't take this one L.
Yes.
Where people are trying to bring in these conversations and these motifs and like present these like new constructs to a story, but they're not doing it in other respects. And I really appreciate Kat's story in Insecure. It's not, in Euphoria, it's not annoying to me. It is, if you said differently, so you can speak to like if you don't feel like it resonates. So
there's a catch-22 because as someone who is overweight, it's obnoxious.
It's heavier, not overweight.
Sorry, you're right. As someone who is heavier.
Words matter.
They do. It does irritate me sometimes when you take someone who is plus size and you make that their storyline.
Mm-hmm.
However, in some instances when it's done tastefully, in a lot of instances, I think that Kat's is it explains it for people so that I don't have to.
That's what I was thinking.
It also doesn't feel tropey. Like I don't, you can tell me if I'm completely off base, but her character has breadth.
Yes.
So it's not like it's just
right.
It is like the sexuality of it. It's the friendships in it. It is the relationships that are like, and the insecurities that come from all of it. It is like all encompassing.
That's the part that I appreciate because I think for one thing for me, because things like this have been said to me like, you'll never find a man because you heavy.
Oh.
Let's check my list.
Or is that person still single? Because I wish.
Hello? Like, let's not do that with Nicole, okay? I'm not that one. Because I've even been in situations.
Period. Poo.
I got hoes.
I've been in situations.
She doesn't. Sorry, Harry. That's not true.
I don't.
She doesn't have hoes.
I'm a one hoe woman.
What?
Yep.
Not one hoe.
Well,
okay.
Anyway,
we can move on.
Anyway, I've been in situations where like it's a group of individuals and individuals who are not heavier, put on their I'm fly hat and I'm about to pull these numbers and I go out minding my damn business and people look at me like, hey, what's up? I got a man at home. Don't do that. Like, because there's that preconceived notion that you look away and I don't look that way. So it's going to come my way first. And I'm just like, I feel like if you just be who you are and people will pull from that instead of how you look.
Yeah, it reminds me of...
I don't even know what sound effect to play, but I feel like there's one. Is there one?
I don't know.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to drop the bomb.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah.
I mean,
It reminds me, I was listening to Demetria Lucas's podcast, and Nina Parker was on there, and she was, I'm going to paraphrase, terribly sorry for not having the direct quote, but she was basically, people expect her sometimes not to be happy because of her size.
mm-hmm.
So that kind of reminds me of what you just said, like just because
Yes.
she's a bigger woman, that people just expect her to like be wallowing or not be comfortable in her skin, or to not be successful as just for who she is, not because of, she has recently come out with a plus size line at Macy's, which I think she was the first Black plus size woman to have a line at Macy's, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
So I think she's found ways to, I don't want to say capitalize. That sounds like
I know what you mean.
like it's downplaying her, like her accomplishments, but like that really stuck with me. I was like, wow, people really do just expect you to like not be happy, or not to find a man, or to be you. Like, they want you to be uncomfortable and not wear what you want to wear, or what have you, just because they're not comfortable with your size.
Right.
It's the projection for me.
Yeah.
I think that's what I appreciate.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say that's why I appreciated Kat's performance on Euphoria, because that dialogue was occurring, and even if she didn't say it, what I appreciated was it made me be more aware about the way in which I was communicating with anyone who may be larger than me. I don't think that I was doing that, but I think that those people on the show didn't think that they were doing that. So either Kat had to say something, or she would, the scene would change and she would clearly be upset about the way the interaction played out. And I was like, oh, what I appreciate about the show is this show is showing that your words matter, which you should know already. But I don't think what you have said earlier, Nicole, is that people are saying things and they think that they aren't being vicious or rude, but they really are. And we may not be fully aware of what we're saying, or how we've allowed other people to influence what we do say to people who maybe look a different way.
Right.
Be it size, shade, whatever the case may be, being more aware of it. And to your point, like, not only is it bringing awareness, but you no longer have to say anything. If you're watching the show, now I know I need to be aware of the way in which I'm doing things. I don't think that I have, but it made me be like, girl, check yourself. Just make sure that you're not doing anything. Have you done this before? If not, then cool, but just make sure you don't. Or if you hear somebody else, be the person in the room to be like, girl, you don't need, like, or boy, or whoever, that wasn't appropriate. Like, that's what I liked about her character. Yes, I'm sure it probably plays into a full trope, but what it's doing is allowing a dialogue amongst people who may not have been fully aware of the things that they were doing, or they are allowing other people to do, parent, and the way in which they were interacting with their children, or what their children might be going through. That's what I liked about her character that you don't see with a lot of other shows, because they're not really even, one, bringing the character in, two, having the depth of conversation that they're having on Euphoria. It's just like it's an upkick that I appreciate, that I think in our sedentary way of living and our way of having access to food needs to be happening, and it's not really happening. So that's why I do it.
Yeah. I guess, and to be fair, it didn't annoy me. I just thought about it from this moment, like, is that annoying? Because none of the other characters, I don't remember us addressing their weight.
Oh, not their. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you. But I feel like everyone has their like backstory of like what their hang up is.
Yeah.
And for different people, it's different things. And for Kat, it happens to be her weight. But I understand what you mean, but I also am thankful for that conversation in the same breath, because I feel like it's not discussed. You know what I mean? Even when it does her like flashback to like her family going to, I don't know, some beach trip or something. And that's where she like gained a lot of weight over the summer, and how that like changed her relationship with her boyfriend when she was going back to school.
You said you feel like that storyline is not discussed
in other shows.
I just feel like this doesn't seem like maybe not to this depth as it went into like a little OnlyFans kind of situation, but like, I feel like this is not the first time I feel like every larger character, their weight is always a topic of conversation.
But we just tried to list.
I just forgot.
I didn't watch that show.
Yeah.
I
can't remember.
That is one of my favorites too.
Yeah,
I don't know how about that. Chrissy Metz. I love her.
Sorry.
Or even, that's the local. I'm thinking, I can only think of like the shows in the 90s. I'm thinking of like Moesha, Kim. they're like the fat jokes that they threw at her. Cause I just happened to be watching it over, cause it's on Netflix right now.
Right.
But I'm just granted, we're talking about an older show, not a new one, but like they were constantly talking about her weight. And like, I remember like her, or even, what's the cartoon with the black girls?
Proud Family?
Yes, Proud Family. Like they're making fun of
the
all
Blue Sisters.
Dejanay. Yeah, and her too.
The character I resonate with the most.
Okay, wait. So now I'm confused because I don't think that having like,
I just don't think what they're saying is talking about is like transformative. Like they're not having conversations that have not been had before on TV is what I'm saying.
Right.
But the two examples that you gave are two people that are getting made fun of for their weight on the show.
Yeah.
It's not giving their backstories or how they're feeling about it.
Yeah,
Right.
at all.
You mean like a deep dive into? So you're saying about like the deep dive into how they got to where they are, not addressing their weight? Is that what you're saying?
That to me, like making jokes pointing out their weight is tropey.
Yeah.
What's not tropey to me is giving that character a storyline from which to tell us her perspective of life.
Agreed.
And if it regards her weight, then fine. Or if it doesn't, then that's also fine. But I can't think of another show that does that. And those two examples, I don't think they hit on that.
I guess on This Is Us, they do. That's probably the only one where they deep dive into her past.
They do. They do a deep. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify that because I'm also a little bit confused because you say that it's tropey, but you also, these are your favorite characters in these shows.
Which one?
This Is Us and Euphoria.
It's probably my favorite character because I resonate so much. More so than anything.
But do you dislike that they're making that a point in the storyline also?
Yes. And I'm
so
about
they're
to
not
say
mutually exclusive.
No.
Okay.
Mainly, so there's a part, if you don't watch This Is Us, I'm about to spoil some of it. I don't care.
It's been over for a long time.
I mean, some people don't watch. So there's a part in the story, Chrissy, who is heavier, she married her husband who is heavier, that in personal life, he lost weight.
Wait, what? Her name is not Chrissy.
Chrissy Metz.
Real life
name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Kate on the show. Chrissy Metz in real life.
Okay.
The husband on the show was heavier when they got together.
Mm-hmm.
And he, in his personal life, lost weight. And in the storyline, which then became tropey to me, which was he lost weight and then became all health conscious. She then was like, okay, should I be health conscious because he's health conscious? And then he started to put that
projected onto her.
Yes. Like, maybe we should do these things or maybe we shouldn't. And I remember in one of the most recent seasons, they were having challenge. Like he moved to San Francisco for work. And so she went to go visit him and she went on a walk to like he just made a decision that he was going to move there. Without discussing with her.
Take a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. So she walked and she he was also like, let's take an Uber to this thing. It's about a block or so away. And she's like, well, why don't we just walk? And he's like, well, I just didn't think that you wanted to. And she's like, why? You didn't even ask me if I wanted to take a walk. Like things like that. I'm just like, do we have to go there? Do we have to do that? And then it became that. So then she walked, she was walking and then it did become difficult for her. And he kind of did like this. Yeah, like those things like to me get irritating because it almost gives lack of support.
I feel like, definitely. I feel like what makes me so intrigued by the cat story is that it seems self-imposed.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like other people are putting that trope onto her, even like who's like interested in her, who she expects to be interested in her.
But that's all self-esteem work.
Well, 100%. But I feel like that's the aspect I've never seen played out in a show.
Oh, like people. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I've seen that played out in a show. Like I've seen like other people being like, well, you need to be helped. But we just like want you to be like almost having like an intervention about like people's weight. But I've never seen it where it's like it's completely self-actualized and it is affecting how you move in the world when it's not affecting how people are perceiving you.
Yeah.
So I think that's the aspect that is really cool to me.
Yeah, that makes
show.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for helping me articulate that.
Wow.
What is it? Why don't I feel like it's tropey? Usually I hate that.
Yeah. So I guess our last segment of this segment would be in like social settings. So like when you go to a bus stop and the seats are divided certain ways.
Airplanes.
Airplane seats and things of that nature. Like how
even concerts maybe.
Oh, the seats?
Yeah, or like any
are
athletic events.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, all that's uncomfortable because it's not made for you, but it's also not made for you because it's like the minimum. Like when I think about it, I work in big business, so I know in order to make money,
big business.
Y'all know what I mean by big business. People that like to make money, they capitalize on things.
People.
Everybody.
People. That's what capitalism is about. Capitalizing on people.
So you figure out how small can I make this seat to make it acceptable,
right?
So I can make the most amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also hella uncomfortable for most people. Like I'm not even going to say some. For most people, it's just not a comfortable experience. I mean, even if you're tall, your knees are not gonna you're not gonna fit. But being a heavier individual and flying, like I remember when I did lose weight, it was I got on the plane. I was like, oh, can I have a seatbelt extender? Not going like being super candid. It's borderline embarrassing. Like you're like, maybe I shouldn't be in this space because it's not made for me, right? So you're going through that. So you sit down. The first time I was able to buckle a seatbelt, I was like, okay, accomplishment. But why is that something to work towards?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like the seatbelt extender for someone who's heavier but doesn't go around you. Or when you are somebody of a heavier size, you go fly, they're like, well, you need 2 seats. I don't have money to pay for 2 seats.
Right.
I'm not paying for 2 seats. So it's like you either jam yourself in the seat and you be uncomfortable for however long your flight is, or you buy 2 seats so you're hella comfortable. But then it's again the embarrassing part. So you're like sitting in 2 seats and it's not because somebody didn't show up for their flight.
Yeah.
So
Also, that is really expensive to have to like.
Yes.
Yeah, might as well be in first class.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
To your point, not only for size, but I have a friend who's 7'1".
Right.
And he's like, you don't, for the most part, you have to pay more money to get the exit rows, and they're usually gone. So last minute flights are terrible. He's literally had to fold up his legs sometimes to sit, and so his knees are out in the aisle. People so all of that being said, the inconvenience of people trying to make money without there being any consideration for the world in which we are currently living in, which there are varied bodies, there are varied things, and instead of companies, which of course they're trying to make money, so they're not concerned about accommodating the customer. It's more so about, well, you should have done X, Y, and Z. Well, turn, ma'am. What do you really expect to happen here, and are you really considering where we are in the world right now? Things are not the same. Point blank, period.
Or I was so Khloe Kardashian is part owner in Good American, which they have a full plethora of sizes. They do from 0 to I think 20 something in their sizes. And she was saying when she was younger and bigger, she couldn't shop in the same stores as her sisters because they didn't carry her size. I'm just thinking even now, if you go into stores, they have a regular section and they have a plus size section. And instead of just putting all the clothes in one section up to whatever size, which typically even now, they're usually different types of clothing as well. It's not even these some jeans and stuff like that is usually they have this extended sizes, but certain dresses and things of that nature that have one type of dress for I don't even know what I guess regular is what they call it is before you get to plus size clothing. I don't know. But she was saying she doesn't allow people to carry her brand if they won't carry the full size range, which a lot of stores, she was saying they won't do it. So you don't see Good American in a lot of stores because they have to carry the whole brand. I'm like, wow, that's interesting in 2022.
Right. Yeah.
We're still dealing with stores not carrying full size ranges.
It's also interesting in the context of you're carrying my brand. So it's not, you don't have to make it. It's not costing you anything. Right. It just is taking up a little bit more space, but that's not, if you want to carry my brand, then this is part of it.
Yeah. I think I think her being in Zara was a huge accomplishment. So I think I've seen her in Zara and Nordstrom. I think that's the only places I've seen Good American. Wow. But
good for her.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
It is.
I mean, so one of my favorite places to shop is Target, and they have an amazing, the plus size section is great. But I mean, think about it like this: if you are a female, the average shoe size is varying from 7 to 9, which means when you go find shoes, you're like, dang, they don't have it. So think about for a clothing provider that you send your clothes to the store, they don't put out the 20 through 28. And then when they do, it's like 2 or 3 pieces of each.
Right.
Mhm.
So then when you go, the plus size section either looks picked over or there's nothing left typically because I mean, people have gone in and purchased it or whatever have you. So it's like you go there and you're like, dang, they don't have nothing. So for me, I always think of the fallout, right? So you go typically and they don't have your shit. So because they don't have your shit, it pushes you to online shopping. So then why is it that it's always plus size that they don't typically carry a good quantity of? So it's almost like y'all don't want me to be outside. Y'all don't want me to be outside. You don't want me to be in your store because you don't ever carry my shit. And even though you offer it, I feel like you're offering it because it's obligation versus it is
your customer base.
Right. So I mean, like you go to, obviously demographic matters. You go to different locations and they have it. So it's like, go out to Maryland and typically I can find all my shit. But it's in the area
so annoying.
Predominantly African American. I'm like, so what you trying to say? All African Americans are heavier? That's not cute.
Yeah, but and we also, I live in Maryland. There are very I don't have malls and like a whole bunch of different stores to go buy clothing and I did in Virginia.
I also don't understand how they don't do that. It as a whole state, how they just don't do it.
Yeah, I can the mall. Like I forgot there was a mall in Charles County. I was like, I've been going to Virginia to go to the mall until someone around. Like, do you know there's a mall in Charles County? I was like, is there?
There's one in Anne Arundel too.
That's far.
It is.
Anne Arundel Mills is far.
Yeah.
But those are the I gotta go to Charles County or Arundel Mills in Maryland to go to the mall. Like a full mall, not like a strip mall or outlets or something like that.
It's
like a traditional mall.
I don't know.
I don't know why they do that either.
It's all intentional. It's a streamline the money.
Bringing it back though, it may and having conversations. Sorry,
I thought you were about to cry. I was like, wow, where's this going?
Oh, sorry.
That didn't look like a cry face.
No, it's my allergies. It's way up there. It makes me think about. So a lot of this we're talking about size, but it also makes me think about age because I think about how in the video that we'll probably try to remember to post. Goodness, man. The young lady was talking about how to get to certain places, she also had an issue like stairs. And I'm thinking about how we're contending with in this area, especially like where I'm from, it's not so much an issue like further west you go, but in this area it's older. So a lot of the buildings have steps,
right?
No elevators and lots of steps, not just a few, my building included, right? And as we moved into a more sedentary way of living with more access to food, there is this contention of I'm trying to be more cognitive also about inviting people who may be older, who may have weight issues, or even just their own issues with body parts, legs, arms, all those type of things, being able to move. And how there are a lot of places that still haven't made accommodations for those. And it's so weird to me because I honestly, when I first moved here, I remember because where I'm from, a lot of places have a step to get into. Whereas here, it's I look at homes and I'm driving by and I'm like, dang, you could not be disabled or be a heavier person and live in this area because not only to get to the house, do you have to have steps to the steps to the house. There are steps to the steps to the house. Yeah. So there's 6 or 7 steps, then a landing, then more steps. And I'm just row houses, right?
Yeah, townhouses.
Yeah, townhouses and row houses. You have to go through several levels. Who wants to do that all day? And I know it's because we've changed, but it's just so interesting to me. Well, the country has changed
too.
Yeah, that's the real core reason.
Yes.
It takes up less space to build up than to build
exactly.
out.
And I understand, again, the housing is old and we have changed, and there has not been a sizable change in the way in which real estate has handled things, even making adjustments in the homes that are easier. It's easier to put them all together, but at the same time, okay, at some point somebody's going to have to consider all right, I'm gonna get to this house, but are we gonna have to start putting elevators into these things? We are living longer too. So like I'm living in a row house and I don't want to sell it, but at some point I'm not going to be able to get up to the third floor anymore. That's my bedroom, even though, I would love this to be my home forever. But I remember I got injured and getting up them stairs on crutches was, let me tell you, it was not fun.
And the other side of it is like some homes do have elevators at row houses, but they add it. It's like it's an experience. Right. It's like also we have an elevator, and it's like, no, nigga, like I have a disability, I need it. Like it's not like it's not just because I want to floss on my friends. I need an elevator in my home to get to my bedroom.
Exactly.
But that's not how it's marketed or thought about. So
I honestly wasn't until I moved to this area that I really considered a lot of different things, because there are limitations, and I don't think that everyone thinks about the full breadth of how people are right now versus things of how they used to be. Right. And it's very interesting how, we're having to make accommodations, and we're really going to have to start really looking at who we are versus like this representation of who we should be. I think where we really are right now is that people are heavier. We are just heavier. It is what it is. It is not a bad thing. It is not this thing where it's tropey. It is literally where we are at. And at some point, we are going to have to start making our lives surround where we are at versus saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be there." And I think that's
not how people think about it.
They don't. I know. That's what I'm saying.
And sometimes it's even people that are the people that other people might be talking about that also like have that cognitive dissonance. It's like, it's kind of like how feminism, a lot of women are like, oh, I'm not a feminist. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't support that. It's kind of like you're hurting your own ability to be better or just for everyone to be better. Because even like the example that we were talking about with the plane, I've seen plenty of people give up their exit row seat for a tall person and be like, oh, I know you're going to need this. I've never seen anybody do it for anybody that's big.
Ever.
I've never seen anybody be like, oh, there's an extra space next to me. Do you want to switch seats? I've never seen that.
Ever.
Wow. That's a good point.
That is a very good point. Think about
that. We're going to have to...
Now me, I don't give up my seat for anybody.
But also...
I really have enjoyed not having anybody sit
I will give up my seat for an older person
on the plane.
I mean, like planes are different. You pay for your seat, right?
We're problematic.
We are.
No,
we are the problem.
We're talking about people who don't make accommodations for other people and how there's a problem. It's us. It's us that I was talking about.
No, I mean, if an older person's on a plane, they have a seat. I'm talking about like I've been on the bus.
On the metro.
Yeah, like on the metro,
I'll do that
bus.
too.
If I see an older person, I'm not going to sit there and watch you hold on to the pole like you.
Well, some people are.
Yeah,
I know, but I'll also give up my seat. But also, there's a man that is sitting down that didn't give up his. I'm also looking at him like,
are you ice girling him?
Yes, because you should have got up, not me.
I agree. The time that has been the wildest to me was when I was in Brazil. We were on the metro, like going from a venue, like back to like where my apartment was.
Flight flex, I love it.
And there was
when I was in Brazil,
and there was like. I would wait because all the seats were taken because they were like the kind of seats where they're all flat. So there's more room to stand, but there's not as many seats to sit. And so all the seats were taken except for like the handicap seats. And so I would wait until I saw if everyone was like seated or was like seated. And then when the train was about to start to move, I would sit down. And the way that other people would be like, to me, and I was getting up at every stop. Like I was actively being like, I understand. I just want to sit right now. I've been on my feet all day, but then I'll make sure that people can sit down if they need to sit down. But I also need to sit down. You don't know they're on their feet, but I need to stand like the rest of us. But I'm trying to make accommodations for people that have to sit so they can sit. But the way that I was like, not a word was uttered to me either. It was strictly
not in English,
vibes.
not in Portuguese. You're just gonna get the vibe right here.
I was like, wow, this energy. We would be in a better place if America was like this. We were just policing each other based on glares.
Right.
Okay, so that brings me back to so when you're in the bathroom and the handicap stall,
I'm using it.
If you're not, are you using the handicap stall or are you going to the other one?
No.
What do I have to do?
Does it matter?
It does.
Why do you need
Yeah,
more
why do you
space?
need more
You
space
need
to
your
poop?
feet to dangle so you can.
I need my space. You asked a real question. I'm giving a
No,
real
but we're
answer.
trying to understand why.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I just need to
Settle in.
settle in and get it out.
I regret asking.
Okay,
You asked, and that is the real
So
answer.
I just remember with I use. So I'm the same person. If the handicap stall is open, that's the one I'm going in. Like, period. I don't care if the other ones are open too. That's what I'm going in. I remember like getting in there, doing my business, coming out, and there was like this mom of like 4 kids just like staring at me. And I'm just like, you're not handicapped either, to be fair. But
I was like, you're in need, but we're both heathens.
like, sorry, you can have it.
Deal
I'm
with
done.
it.
But I was just thinking, like, if I open the door and there's like a handicapped person standing, I'd be like, ugh.
Yeah,
I never used the handicap one. I used it today on accident, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" And I didn't realize till it was too late.
Oh,
But-
I always use it.
No, I never. The only time that I use the handicap bathroom is if I'm changing clothes,
Oh,
just so I'm
that's
not
fair
like
too.
It's my
touching.
default.
I have two
Just so I'm
reasons.
not
two
touching the
reasons.
stalls.
Yeah, no, that's
Well,
that's
I mean,
fair.
even then, I mean, it's a bathroom, and in a lot of like, if you were to go to a sports event or a concert and you go to the bathroom, sometimes there's a line
Yeah.
for the regular.
Oh, that is
right?
different.
Well,
to
I'm
me.
thinking about if there were other stalls open.
Even if that's the case, what I'm saying is, I don't think that.
You're saying it doesn't hold the same weight as like a handicap spot?
Correct.
Okay.
Like, because if you're parking, you're probably going to be there for an extended period of time. But going to the bathroom,
Unless
like,
you're
you can
silent.
wait 2 minutes. Like, not
Sia's like, not me.
I mean, some people.
Well, you gotta go and lay it out. You gotta go and lay it out. I don't care what anybody else says.
Especially after you waited in line, you might. I might have played it close.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm fine with the using of a handicapped bathroom, but
If you're not handicapped.
I mean,
Okay. I mean,
I'll also ask other people. Like if I'm next in line and it's a
Wow.
handicap bathroom and I notice someone else that might need it, I'll ask. I'll be like, "Oh, do you need to go? It's okay."
You're so nice. I'm like, I guess she's gonna wait till I
where
get
do y'all
out.
be well, see that maybe because I don't go outside, because there's no tip. The only time I've ever stood in a line is a couple of times I've been to a concert, and never when I've gone to an airport. So
It's concerts and athletic games for me.
And the airport, too.
That's
I don't
weird.
be
Oh,
going
yeah,
nowhere.
for sure, airport. But with the airport,
Oh, I don't be
it's-
asking people in the airport. I got a flight to catch. Sorry.
Yeah,
you don't have to hold that.
Like, if this, where okay, I'm going because
Yeah, you can also wait for me to get out.
right.
I have to go too.
Well, I mean, bathrooms are different. Now
we can move
now
on. I didn't need for this to be a thing.
a handicap parking spot though. If there's an open. To be fair, I have a handicap sticker in my car.
Is it yours or is your mom's?
No one asked that.
I did actually.
No, that is, you have a sticker, right? If there's another spot, then I will park in the other spot.
Mhm.
But-
Will you?
yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm very.
Another spot close.
Yeah, if there's
Yeah,
another.
there's caveats. There's all these spots in the back you can get. No. I'm about to get this close spot versus the handicap. But if
Yeah, I'm not chancing in the handicap spot. Also because I don't have a sticker. So I'm not getting towed or ticketed.
Oh, very good.
But okay.
yeah,
okay.
I think that's different.
I'm sorry I did this. Sorry I brought it up. Just wanted to know.
I mean, you did. It is what it is.
It is.
Well, you know, one thing we gonna do, y'all, is
It's
tangent.
I hate it and I love it.
I don't know why I love it.
You get so giddy.
I do.
Every time. Okay, should this week be like funny or thought provoking?
Funny.
Yeah, we dove
We've
deep
been
into
thought
some stuff
provoking all
today.
day.
We have been doing
Okay.
a lot
And like
of
All right.
abnormally not funny today.
It wasn't very funny, damn.
Sorry, y'all.
Okay. All right, this could be funny or deep, I guess.
We'll take it.
Okay. Have I asked this before? What's a double standard you agree with?
a double standard. I agree with.
I think we're gonna need your questions in advance.
No, I have one.
Oh, I feel like I would know what yours is, Carol.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, do mine.
That feels like an attack.
No, because I just feel
Wait,
like...
hold on. Before you say it. Just in case.
Right, do
Because
mine.
haven't you said like gender roles? There's some that you really...
Look, I was just
roll
about to
with?
say.
That's fine.
Okay.
I was just mine is men take out the trash.
Ooh, that is.
Yeah, I've taken out the trash. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't
And-
want to be here.
And ghetto here.
and shoveling the snow. I don't want to
Oh
do
yeah,
it.
I'm not doing that either.
I don't want to do it.
That's fact. You guys do know me.
I
mean,
know I thought
I'll-
yours before I thought of mine.
Oh yeah,
That's
I'll bring
okay.
you like a drink.
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
I would do that. You want some hot chocolate? You
Yeah.
want some hot tea?
I'll even throw a blanket in the dryer so when you come in, you have something nice and warm.
Yes.
But what I'm not going to do is help.
Like the way it snowed and I sent Harry outside, I was like, do you have your gloves? Do you have all your things? He was like, are you coming outside? No. I just want to make sure you have everything that you need. No.
Yeah.
What do you want to drink? I'll have it ready for you when you get done.
This is true. You know what a double sense that I would, or like a gender role that I would like to subscribe to that I don't? Like I want someone to pay all my bills.
Can you pay my bills?
Like all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out here too.
The way my mind is going, like it's just turning like all the things I could do.
I know. I've been looking at them like sugar baby accounts. I'm like,
every time I see a feed only OnlyFans, I'm like, that's all I need.
Right.
A little pedicure.
Right. Hello.
Pay all my bills. Though this was, I thought y'all were going to choose more violence.
oh, well, you do yours. Maybe it'll spark something.
I
Right.
feel like it's rude.
No,
I don't even
do
know if I
it.
actually believe it, but
do it.
Yes, you do. If you think it, you believe it.
Oh
that is
wow!
not- you can think a lot of things that you don't
Yeah,
agree
that's
with.
aggressive.
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, let's not go there. Okay.
It makes me feel bad just to say it. Okay, if girls dabble with other girls, it's just a phase. But if guys dabble with other guys, you're gay.
Wow, weren't we? That was almost a topic, like bisexual men.
Yeah.
I think it still should be it.
Side note: if you're a
very
bisexual
intrigued.
man, we would like to have you on this
hit us
podcast.
up.
Yes, for sure.
Please.
Because I don't actually agree with that. I've come a long way in my thinking. I would like to talk to you on our show.
So I actually saw side note. I saw yes, a reel or something like that. It said when your bisexual husband is getting hit on by
I saw
girls,
that.
and then he runs up to him and like they're dancing or whatever. I'm just like, oh wow. I don't. To be honest,
exist.
what? But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, that would be really dope.
It
I
would be dope.
Preferably a black man, but beggars can't be choosers.
Right.
Fair. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like talking about gender roles, talking about
Double standards.
yeah, like is there anything that
The double standard that men stand up to be and women sit down. I think I heard somebody
Wait,
earlier
what?
say, yeah, like that's not one.
I don't think that.
That's not a double standard. You're right. That's just something you have to do.
You know what? Never mind.
You know why I came to my mind? Because I heard somebody
Of
earlier
course.
say that as a female, they wish they could stand up to be. And,
I am
Oh,
that
to
female.
pee.
Yeah.
I thought you just meant in general.
Oh,
like
no.
women have to sit down and be quiet.
Oh,
No.
wow.
What
First, it's
the
kind of
fuck?
aggressive.
Do you know us?
Right.
No.
That's why I was like, never mind. Let me take this question
Now
back.
you know. Now you know.
Okay, but that, do you now also understand why I was so confused?
Yeah. Okay. Now I get
Yes.
it.
But also, what she said didn't make sense either. So we can definitely move on.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Because
It
it's a
doesn't,
double
but
standard.
that's fine.
I feel like that question was terrible. All right.
Do you have another one?
I have a whole plethora.
Okay.
This
Well,
is-
then see if we can find another one.
Okay. You know what
I
my
still
tangent
don't know.
should be?
Yeah.
Just pure elation that no one pulled out a dictionary on me today.
I thought someone was gonna
Actually-
pull one out for cognitive. I can't
Cognitive dissonance? And I was like,
I'm like, wow, we gonna let her live. We gonna let her live.
I kind of thought it, and then I was like, yes, let me not say anything.
Like, I actually know where she's going with this, so I'm gonna
yeah.
let her
We'll
ride.
stay here. We'll
Yeah.
stay here. We're good.
Okay, I'll do a fun one. If Insecure does a spinoff, which character is it
Kelly.
going to be about?
Kelly,
Ready
I
in the
want a
clip.
spinoff with Kelly.
As a mom?
Please.
Listen to the rest of the question.
That was a question.
No, that was the end of my question, but I
But
want to
as a
know
mom?
what version of Kelly, because at the
Isn't she
end
pregnant?
she got pregnant.
Right. But now I want Kelly like whole.
I would
even if there's,
prequel
like-
Kelly.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even if it's like her seeing like her relationship with this man who she eventually gets married to and has a child with, but there are like flashbacks to like pre Kelly, like how she, you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
how she got to this point.
Yes.
So you a
Like,
producer? You're a producer now.
Call me.
I would totally watch that.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
want to see. I feel like Kelly's the one character like who we got a lot of her, but I needed
Not
more.
enough.
Not
Yeah.
enough. Like I just
Yeah.
really wanted more of Kelly because
I feel like the sound bites that I would remember after every episode were Kelly insertions, just
Right.
like random fuckery. Because what, sis?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like, how did we get here? Like this thought right here.
With that face.
Here.
With that
Right.
Did you just wake up this wild?
Right.
Like it's the morning.
No, and I feel like she did. Like to even see her like as a little child just saying wild and random shit to her parents, and her parents being like, "What? What?" Like,
Yeah.
how did you
Would
get
be
here?
awesome.
Yes.
I totally agree with you.
Yes, I've thought about this. Issa, call me. I mean, I actually
Now
don't
I already
know.
have the pilot written.
I call me if you
Well,
want to do
not
this, let's
only
do
can
this.
she direct and produce, but she can also dress the cast too. Come
Okay.
on.
Call me.
Come on.
Come
Jack
on,
of all
Issa.
trades.
Yes,
Yes.
call me. I'm ready. Tag me in, sis. No, but seriously, I've thought about this intensively.
I
I
see.
would love to see
Came
Kelly.
ready.
Yes, I knew as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, girl.
I also think the other, like the fuckboy friend that was,
The light skin one?
yeah, I feel like I would watch a spinoff of that. Could be like, maybe not like the prequel of it, but
yeah.
like are you going to be this for the rest of your life? Like, are you going to be like the 40-year-old at the cookout, still single, acting like this? Or are you going to like grow? Because I feel like so much of Insecure like shows the woman aspect.
Yeah.
I would be really
That's
thought provoking
actually-
to see like that circle of men and how they develop from a male perspective. I would also watch that.
Oh,
They should call it Why Them Niggas Niggas.
Well, there's kind of a show on who I don't know what network it's on, but it's on who. It's called Grand Rising.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm
but
already turned off. Sorry.
Ironically, it has no Hotep-y like.
Oh, that is ironic.
Yeah, it is very surprising. I think it's called Grand Rising.
It
isn't
is.
Okay.
I watched it. Slow grower on
Yeah.
me, for sure.
I only watched the
but-
first 3 episodes. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be into this, but it kind of goes into like the different types of men and them
Okay.
dating and.
Surprisingly, none of them are like anyone on Issa's show. Like they are very, to me, what I think that was kind of why for a minute I was like, oh, I like this, but I'm not like, it didn't take off like I wanted it to really take off. But the men are very varied. Some of them getting really into their feelings. Some of them are really like into relationships. So I was like, oh,
That is
this
interesting.
is like an interesting take. So I really wanted to like.
Does he have a whole friend?
He's kind
It's a
of
spectrum.
he's kind of ish, but not really. Like he
Okay.
talks about it being that way, but he's not really.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I had high expectations for it to like really take off, and I think it will do better as the seasons go on. But I think it just didn't. It didn't do what it needed to do in the first season. Like I think it can once better writers kind of get into it. But it has the potential. So I'm I'm staying with you. I watched the whole season, and I was like, do it better next season, and I think I'm gonna be in there with you.
I feel like this could be what Insecure was for us. For men in our same age that are still in our age range that are still single for them. You know what I mean? Like having 2 friends that are now married with kids, having like made big life changes, another friend that's single, and you being like the fuckboy friend that is like trying to figure out like who am I going to be a fuckboy with now if my friends are getting like married and having kids, or is this still like what's true for me, or do I grow from here? I think that would be a very interesting perspective.
Oh yeah, men don't have that.
Yeah, in the same way that
guess.
Insecure was very formidable.
Formidable?
Nope.
Formidable?
Formative
Formative.
for us. It could be that for guys. That was my thought process.
Yeah, no, like I honestly do like that. And I think, especially since it's Black Mental Health Month or whatever, yes, that would be a great thing to be able to see men deal with. Because when you mention Grand Rising, when you think about it, there's like an episode in there where this man is dealing with him, the way in which he dates, and like having to really understand why he's dating the way in which he dates. And I was like, oh, this is like kind of mental health-ish. Because he was like depressed about it for a little bit. And he had to like, yeah, and it was like, oh.
What station is this on?
I saw it on Hulu. I
Is
don't
that
know.
an age-ass question? Did I just ask what station it's on? Wow. I am
What's the alternative?
30. Like what platform? But it's not a station anymore. We watch shows on apps.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think it does. I think it's on like ABC or something
Yeah,
originally.
okay.
I
It is a
believe.
station. Okay.
But I found it on Hulu, so I don't because I don't have cable.
I got that. I'll watch
the
it.
first season is over, and I think they did get renewed.
Okay.
But Yeah, it is like
What
ABC.
is that, Channel 7?
Turn the TV. What? Okay, yes.
All right. Before we age, are you done?
No, I don't think that was it. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
done.
So before we age ourselves any further, before I go to me in the week.
That's not just me this time.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of like really good things happen. I feel like we should celebrate. So, so Nicole, I don't want to tell you guys. I don't know if you guys want to tell your
Did you want to
good
share
news. I'll let you guys share your news. I just want to celebrate the good news. Oh yeah, one of Patrick.
I did just buy a house.
Woo! Can we get a clap?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds so like we're being sarcastic.
It does. We're actually very. Oh, I got Saya's non-alcoholic.
I hacked the system.
You did, and it's still going because you pressed so many goddamn.
Anyway, so I just bought a house.
Yes, congrats, sis.
Yeah, thank you.
Tiff?
I got offered a new job.
And
by the time I feel like I can say it safely because by the time this will air, I will have accepted it.
Yes.
We're closing on a house, on a townhouse to be more specific.
Blessings on
Yes. So I just
Like
feel
God
like,
really been showing out.
yes.
Hello?
And I feel like we need to, we deserve the
Celebrate.
flowers while we're here.
Wow,
So we're gonna
you
celebrate.
really came ready today.
Right.
Well,
You're the MVP of this podcast.
Well, Saya definitely threw the alley because I had planned to
Don't
go
spill
get
it.
like an expensive bottle of champs, but my expensive bottle is only affordable in one place and it's not by me. So Saya went and threw the alley oop and got something else.
Oh wow, I really appreciate that.
Oh, just on.
Yeah, Saya didn't drink, so she's. All right, I'm gonna pass the bottle so you can pour at your your leisure.
Thank y'all.
Yes, so proud
It
of
has
you
been a
guys.
very
So
exciting
exciting.
time.
Yeah.
Sparkling
Yes.
cider.
I was thinking I should do this for us, and then I forgot. So I'm really proud of you for
Right.
having followed through.
Because she texted me at 8 this morning and I was like,
are you
at
okay?
9. At 9, I responded with, no, I'm just not getting up.
Damn, I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's fine. I really had planned to go get like a real bottle of champs. Maybe when you guys all, whatever, next time.
It's not too late.
This is just for y'all. We're doing the real thing later.
Yeah,
put it in
so
the middle if you
cheers,
want.
guys.
Woo.
Come on in, Patrick.
Yes, cheers. With all the blessings on blessings on blessings. All right.
That's good.
Now back to the ratchery
What is
that is
that?
this show.
I like that cider. That is tasty.
Damn, that tastes good.
That was really good.
You don't usually we get this Prosecco all the time, sis.
I almost brought your bottle of kava, but I couldn't remember what brand it was.
Oh, I like
Yeah, that's why I be
Well, good, I'm
faking.
I
glad.
think my palate might be changing.
Wow, 'cause I was like,
Ownership has done this.
Yes.
Because I was like,
that's what happens with
bougie
food.
now.
so I was like, do I bring some Hennessy for Nicole?
The way I almost bought that handle of Four Seasons or whatever the fuck it is that's on the floor.
Yeah, it's delicious, isn't it?
Listen, it would have gone well in here.
Four roses.
Four roses.
If y'all want to sponsor me, that's fine.
The whole time.
It was bougie. It made sense to my
Four Seasons
mind.
has great bourbons. What is it, whiskey or bourbon? Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Thank
okay. So the meme of the week. Meme of the week.
Meme of the week.
It's on the Jasmine brand, and it says, "If you text me, we need to talk. I'm gonna reply, yes, we do. Now we both stressed."
I respect it.
That is choosing violence.
Yeah,
It's warranted
because
though.
what we not gonna do.
Ooh.
All right.
Harry, don't
And-
listen to that. Don't respond to me that way. I do that. I'm that person. I'm like, we
I
need to
actually
stop.
hate when people do that because it gives me the worst anxiety.
Let's just talk about it. Why are you always telling me we gotta talk about
If
it?
you're not ready to talk about it right now, don't tell me.
Right.
It's like a surprise. Don't tell me you were gonna get me something and you don't. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that.
You know what I almost planned for us? Don't tell me.
Right.
That is like one of my biggest pet peeves. Because if it doesn't happen, like I was never gonna be disappointed anyway.
Now I am.
Yeah.
For no
Oh
reason.
my god.
You know why
that
people
really
do that?
grinds my gears.
You
Like
Do you know
pisses me
why
off.
people do that?
I am
It's
triggered.
because they want you to be just as disappointed as they are. Misery.
That
And I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, that's unfair.
Meanwhile, I'll
If
be
your
doing-
plan didn't come through.
Yeah, I be doing it to Patrick all the time. You know what I had planned, but these flights didn't line up. It was a shame.
Oh my
Listen to the
God.
story.
The way I'd punch you in your
Yeah,
throat every
I'm the
time.
worst.
Look, I always say misery does not need my company.
But really, I be doing it to see if I have permission to spend the amount of money that it costs now when the flight deal didn't come through.
Just so you know, Patrick.
That's why I be floating these ideas.
Wouldn't it be nice to fly to Cancun?
Abu Dhabi.
Babe, you know what I have
crazy
for
for
us?
tips.
But them flights, babe. But I mean, we could still go.
Right.
Just saying. I mean,
Look, meanwhile, we're like, yeah, that sounds great. Check out.
Already being in the car.
It's already in the car.
Check out.
I tell you how many times we've been on vacation, planning another vacation. Like, Ted, we are on the beach right now. Like, why do you need to?
But these deals.
I mean, this flight deal is not gonna last. So either we do it now, or
Why do we know you this way?
it's terrible. I'm being reformed.
I have one more. It's from R21 Unbothered. It says, "Break My Soul" came out and the universe took that as a challenge.
It did, though. It truly did.
What is that?
check.
There's the other one that's like,
Beyonce.
Oh,
Break my
yeah.
soul.
there's another one that's like, I don't know, Beyonce, they breaking my soul a little bit.
Life and.
That's been the Supreme Court been supreming.
No.
They haven't. They've been. What's the opposite of supreme? What's the bad version?
I don't know.
That's your words. Come on.
Right. Come on.
Oh,
Urban
man.
Diction, like
I'm
Urban
trying to think of
Webster.
it. Look. It's not coming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry.
I'm failing us.
All right, that was all for me. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Depleting. That's what I would say. They've been depleting instead of supreming.
Oh, see? You still didn't get the
Depriving.
money, though.
Yeah, I think we need
You
work
still
on
didn't
that.
get the money, though.
All right, you come up with the next one then. Great.
I didn't think I was smart.
Okay, anyways.
Anyway, it's the time for Afro Shade.
It
It
is.
is.
Anyone feel led to lead us today? That's so churchy.
It is.
I'm
You
old.
know you was raised in the church, man.
You know?
Yeah, I got my prayer cloth and everything today.
You do.
Wait,
It took everything from me not to
she got me
call you out.
mine. She got me together.
Armored in the Lord.
Come on, Deaconess.
I'll go. I want to affirm that your body is fine just the way it is. And that we have to stop, and I'm talking to myself included, letting other people's either their perceptions of themselves or even their insecurities or what have you affect how we feel, their feelings on you, how you feel. Let me start over. We cannot let how they are feeling about themselves affect how you feel about yourself.
That's real.
And I think I can only speak from a Black woman's perspective because that's what I am. But I think as Black people, we, especially, I don't know what it is about old Black people, but they have this like unique ability
Audacity.
to just, I guess, poke at our weight, and especially in times when like you really don't need that. And I think it affects us in ways. For me, it has a long-term effect on how my relationship with food, my body, how I grew up. And so I just want us to unlearn all those things, be comfortable with ourselves, and just the main goal should be health, not anything else. And so as long
Which
as
is not visual also.
yeah, so
Right.
as long as you are living a healthy lifestyle for you, that's all that really matters. What your visual body and your weight and all that stuff, it should be based on what you want, not what other people want for you.
Agree.
I'll go next. I was gonna say something similar, but instead I'll affirm the other side. I want to affirm for people that feel like it's their place to comment on other people's weight and lifestyle to shut the fuck up. That's what I affirm for you.
I love
Just to mind your business.
Be quiet.
Drink water and mind your business.
I feel like there is this inherent idea that that you're helping someone, that you are doing some sort of due diligence in terms of someone else's well-being by commenting on their either size or your perception of their health, and you're not. So how about you worry about you? And if they need help and they are a friend of yours, they will ask you for that. And if they don't, it's not your place. And that's the end of the conversation. There doesn't need to be a litany of reasons of why you shouldn't or how it makes people feel. None of that. Just know better. Do better.
Mm.
That was a word.
That is a word.
I wish I had a mic to drop that wasn't ours.
So when it lasts, I feel like what else is there to say after that?
I want to affirm for our listeners this week that they're.
Why did you make that so awkward?
I wasn't looking at you. This one's for you.
You, my number one.
Oh, you can get it live.
We got to the place like, oh, please.
I would like a refill. It's, can I get a refill?
You know that song.
I'm gonna be triggered by that song until the day I die. You play at my funeral, I will haunt you for the rest of my life.
In college, what did you want us to do?
Right.
You should have played it at your wedding.
Oh, I tried so hard.
Should have been the background for your speech.
That's what I should have sang when I said I was going to sing a song.
Not just being like, oh.
Do you want to pour it? I don't.
All right, so I want to affirm for our
Wait, sorry.
Let me just finish pouring. This isn't a ghetto.
Drank.
Pull up.
Oh, wait.
Drank.
Oh, I thought we was
Big
finishing
shot.
it off. Listen, you said pour it up. I'm pouring it up.
Pass the pee.
He can
Like
kill
we
it.
used to do. Pass the pee. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't even.
You should probably count yourself down.
You gonna pull it from the top?
Comment to the top.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start from here.
Comment to the top.
Okay. Now I'm trying to remember what I was going to affirm because now I can't remember what I was going to
You
affirm.
want me to
Oh,
know?
shoot.
Hold on.
Sometimes I feel like I go after Saya, you know,
What were you trying to say?
so we don't get a teacher affirmation. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Wait, are we gonna count? You counting down? Are you ready?
Give me. I'm gonna wing it.
You got it. You got it.
You got it. We
I
believe
mean,
in you.
you also have time if you need to. A second.
Right. Do you want me to go?
This is
Uh,
number
No, I'm just. All right. Ready?
Three.
This is for you. All right. So I want to affirm for our listeners this week that no matter where you are on your journey with your own weight, that your weight is not the weight that you are holding on your body, but it's the weight that we have on our mind.
Wow.
I think that for a lot of us,
Pressure.
what we are dealing with more than anything else is trying to contend with this. And so it may, in one way, shape, or form, present itself on the outside, be it small or skinny. But I want to affirm for us that if we take care of this one right here, for a lot of us, I think it has to do with our personal relationship with not only ourselves, with God, but know that that journey is the only one that you really need to be focused on. Our weight will fluctuate with season. So regardless of any of that, if we are focusing on really how we deal with our own selves and how we talk to ourselves, how we love on ourselves, how we love on each other, we're focusing on that weight and making sure that that feels and affirms who you know yourself to be, no matter what you look like on the outside. I affirm for you that that is going to help change how you look and how your outlook is going to be on life. So this week, I'm asking and affirming for you all to just remember that we love you no matter what the outside look like, but we are praying for what the weights that you're dealing with in your mind, and that you can lift them up and be able to lift your own self up to a space that's healthy for you.
Wow, that's the collection plate.
Girl, that was
great.
Oh.
That was
And
you
you
reading
winged
it,
that?
right? Jesus Christ!
a whole bar.
Oh.
The way we all looked at you when you said it, we were all like,
Thank you,
that needs
Jesus.
to be a clip.
It should.
Sheesh. Thank you, Lord.
Lord of mercy.
I got 16 minutes left in my parking lot, so you know,
Okay.
no
all
pressure,
right.
but hurry up.
I mean, okay. So, in a world, well, let me say this.
In a world.
I want this story.
I affirm to our listeners today, in a world that makes you feel like you don't belong, know that this world was created just for you.
Mm.
And that it doesn't matter what you look like, if you're heavier, if you are smaller, the world is literally ours. We've been given dominion over it. So walk in that, act in that, speak in that, do whatever you want to do in that. Just know that it's yours, and that's it.
Wow. Y'all really did
y'all
it
is
today.
Speaking today.
Wow.
I think all.
Yeah.
And I want to just say,
I feel like I was rude and y'all were very uplifting.
You
I'm
were
not
rude?
apologizing.
No.
I was gonna say, you were saying
That was a word.
Yes.
'Cause some days I look at people like,
you could have kept that.
oh,
shut
shut
your
your
ass
ass
up.
up.
Right, who asked you?
Your own
Shut
sense
up.
didn't tell you that?
No, because they ain't got none.
Remember, you're
Common
asking
sense
to
is not
affirm
common.
not only yourself but somebody else. So if they are not doing that,
Right. Hey,
yes, please, thank you.
Hey, shut.
So I'm like, so wait,
Y'all bye.